3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin The Racin.
Let's go straight into it, and welcome back to the podcast Chasin The Racin, brought to you by OMG Racing, Bennetts, and a bit of a hot turf from our guest there, but I'm going to let my beautiful Scottish co-host introduce, and that you've got a proper name for our guest.
I do.
Go for it, Duncan. Vincent.
Well, Duncan, Vincent, standing co-host for Chasing the Racing tonight. Looking forward to this. We've got a good friend of mine who unfortunately couldn't make it, so we've got somebody else stepping in.
Now, hold on, to be fair, before he opens his mouth, he did turn up with beer.
Oh, he did turn up with beer.
Everyone listening to this is in for an absolute treat, and it's
Hawks,
not even it's Hawks Vegas.
You can't talk yet. We've not introduced you.
There is that, and I've interrupted you, Duncan.
Yeah, thank you very much for the beer. It's really nice. We have got the F in FS3 with us tonight, the man behind Completely Motorbikes Kawasaki, the British Superbike team. Some would say the good-looking one, some would say the young one, but Nigel was busy. We've got Far and Dry with us tonight, also known as Darren Fry.
Far and Dry.
You're such a cock.
Cheers.
I'll tell you what, I think this is proper podcasting, let's face it. Grace is going to have a headache by the end of this one.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a headache as well.
I'll tell you
You'd have thought she got the pizza first, not afterwards.
There is that, we have, like on Chasin The Racing, we have a food service as well, so we can imagine Grace has set us all up, got the cameras rolling. Unfortunately, for our YouTube element, one of the cameras has gone down, which is not good. So
that was the one focusing on my belly, wasn't it?
We got rid of it, son. We got rid of it. So we're here to make it look glamorous. Don't you worry about that. But I'll tell you what, while you're going on to that side of things, we have an episode sponsor, which is, I see these acronyms do my head in. So we got PCRS, Irish Official Orleans Sales and Service Centre. We sell and service all Orleans motorcycle products.
Clearly you've read this before, haven't you?
No.
Practice this.
No, I haven't actually. It's this Hawks Vegas beer. This is going down really well. So anyway, let's keep it rolling. You've knocked me flow here, lads. You've knocked me flow. So please contact PCRS at rallysport.com for any inquiries. So obviously, without episode sponsors, without our podcast sponsors, this just simply wouldn't be happening, and we wouldn't be able to nick Darren. How did he say his name?
Far and Dry.
Far and Dry for the evening.
Just rolls off the tongue.
It does,
I love it.
Far and Dry.
So,
mate.
I rolled my R's just for you there,
You're like the next James Bond that should never be on the TV. Just listen to you on the radio. James Bond for the radio. That's it. You've got a face.
Yeah, thanks for that. Smoke me a kipper, buddy.
I was actually...
Sorry, wasn't it?
Can we swap seats? I'm getting turned on here. I feel a bit uncomfortable, to be honest.
Because we are at the Bennetts British Superbike Championship. That's where we are right now. So we've got some good vibe in the paddock. It's one of the hottest events we've ever been at because of the temperature is just really, it's summertime's here. Hence the reason we're all looking a little bit
10 degrees is hot for you though, isn't it?
a bit hot, yeah. Might start
too far south.
Perspiring halfway through this. We've also got the Bennetts. Should we mention Bennetts as a mention this? Grace sent me some information as well.
Yeah, go
Did
for
you
it.
cover that?
Go for it, mate.
So,
Bennett's bike there.
Bennett track days, yeah.
Mate. Bennett Bike Insurance obviously have the track days, the bike social element. But I tell you what, I just want to sit here and listen to you two talk.
Oh wow!
No, you're the voices of it.
Bitch and moan at each other.
And that's
sexual tension.
It was good today, right? So hang on,
looking at each other.
Let's talk about Bennett's Bikes Track Day because they do track days. Track days are live on the Bennett's website. They keep the numbers nice and low. They give great track days. So for more info, JCT Truck as well and Trailer Rental. For more info, you can find it in the description. That's what Grace has told me. So just like to try and say that. Today in the commentary point, Darren came and joined me for the Superstock 1000 race, the Pirelli National Superstock race. Yeah, well, I did notice, but
he did try and ignore me.
It's quite funny because Darren's trying to kind of speak to me, but he writes down a little note and I give him a thumbs up, and he almost took the huff because it's like I said, I knew what he was talking about, but I didn't. But then he tries to talk to you, but people think you can lip read in the commentary box because
he just looks at my cheeks moving.
Doesn't
when I'm
work,
running.
yeah. Well, but it was nice to have you in the commentary box. It's been a long time.
You're so cute.
And I know why you're there. You're always on the lookout for other riders just to see what they're doing because you've got some favourites in the paddock. You're not silly. You look around the paddock to see how these riders are getting on. You want to see how the other manufacturers are doing as well in other classes, and you also look for some air conditioning on a very hot day.
The last one was the first one.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, you do that, don't you?
Yeah.
You go up there and you can get a mega view and you start thinking, He's aggressive. He's smooth.
But we're both friends of Josh Owens, and we both like to see Josh Owens going well.
Yeah.
A really good qualifying session today on 9 competition second car Aprilia, which was cracking. But also good race pace. He's just needed a little arm around him, and that's coming from Ian and Myra Newton. It's quite good to see him starting to produce and get the results that we both know he's capable of, and he just needs that little gentle bit of nudging.
Yeah, but Ian's such a pro, isn't he? You know, and he can put that arm around him, and he can. And Josh needs just a little calming down. He's such a nice lad, and you only just want him to be at the front.
Yeah.
But he almost wants it too much sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I've tried to get him on various bikes and whatever, and he's got some great sponsors behind him, some cracking, proper down to earth lads that have been in our workshop, and they just want him to do really well because he's a lovely lad. And he's big friends of Rory, and it was that small crew that. So you're out there sort of, rooting for him, but then I've seen Joe Talbot come all the way through from doing No Limits and spent a lot of time with him there, and seen him get upset, dragged him off of Billy McConnell when he was going to smash his face in. That was quite interesting.
Hold on.
Hang on, I'm cuddling you there, sorry.
No, hold on. Joe Talbot was going to beat up
Joe's
Australian
Mate.
Billy McConnell.
Mate, right.
No, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to throw the race card on. Have you actually seen an Australian fight?
They fight kangaroos, don't they?
Yeah, but Billy's a big wuss. He'd just be slapping him with his handbag, really. He taught us a good fight, but he's like, mind you saying that, he did, yeah.
Joe's a boxer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know loads of boxers, but hold on,
mate, I grabbed him when he was going over the fence into Parc Ferme, and I grabbed him. I jumped off my scooter, threw it at somebody because I could see him charging down. Billy had taken him off at Charlie's 1 or 2. Billy's going, mate, it's one of them things, it happens. And Joe's his eyes are just like lasers, and he's going over the top of the fence. I grabbed him, and when you feel somebody's really stupidly strong, and you think, oh fuck, I'm gonna get a whack here. And I was like, calm down. I said, you gotta calm down. And Billy's going, what Billy's like, oh mate, give us a hug, it's fine. I'm like, Billy, just go away, because you're just gonna get your face rearranged in a minute.
I tell you what, let's put a bit of character reference behind Joe Talbot. How old is Joe?
I don't know, 21.
Young kid, yeah.
But he's a cracking lad. His family cracking, and like I say, spent a lot of time with them in the No Limits paddock, and they're just brilliant people. And Joe Richardson looks after him, and his dad throws a lot of money, hard-earned graft money at it. I could definitely see Joe on the superbike. I'd give him a run out one day on a superbike.
Really?
But he's
Well, he's been on a pathway bike, and he's a great super stock 1000 rider now.
Yeah.
I watched him struggle for a year in the Kawasaki with big Joe Richardson.
Yeah.
Then Joe kind of split his team from stock, junior super stock, and senior super stock. That's not even a thing, is it? Primarily national super stock. So could be that. So he split the camp. He kept the juniors on 600, and he put Joe Talbot in a Honda, and it's just completely brought him alive.
I mean,
I've given him the name Front Row Joe because he's always there every week in, week out.
Yeah. I think if he loses just a tiny bit of aggression now and gets a bit of control, he's going to be the
in the way.
Yeah.
In walk and water.
Yeah.
But
he's boarding today as well. He's not that quick.
We need that was me just starting randomly saying, in the commentary box, but we need to go back and kind of try and start from the very beginning, because you're a team boss now, but Dom, he was a bloody good rider in his days. This is a former.
No, hold on. You're around a motorcycle still, mate.
Former Ducati Tri-Options champion 2010.
Yeah, that's before all the good lads got
before
there.
Dennis Hobson, Matt Duncan. Yeah.
Before
the raging alcoholics.
That was BH before Hobbs.
Those boys taught me to drink badly.
Yeah. And you've carried on really well. They've both stopped drinking now and got back into athletics. And you've just
you've not seen them lately, though.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I was telling you the story earlier. So I was done the first year with JHP. I packed up racing in 2008. Just had enough of it, sort of lost the love of it, etc. And Rick rang me. He's like, fancy racing this 848 series, get mega. And I don't know anybody that knows Rick Hackett, but he builds any bike like it's a world super bike. So this little 848, I turned up and it was just like, oh God, I can't ride that. It's ace. Anyway, so win the championship, and then the championship really took off. Marty Nutt ended up as my teammate, and Dennis Hobb was his bench mate. And so I was like all training, not drinking, all of that lot. And one night we were at Cadwell, they were like, "Look, you got a problem." "What problem?" "Well, you don't drink enough." I was like, they said, "Look, we're ahead of you in the championship, we're ahead of you in every qualifying, every race, and we get smashed the night before. So really what you'd want to do is start drinking a lot of red wine, looking as bad as Marty." Like, I used to go down to the awning, and Rick again had this beautiful awning. It just looked like you were riding the World Superbike setup. It was just for the 8 for 8, it was ace. Used to get down there, water bottle on my scooter, headphones on that didn't work because I forgot to charge them, and I looked cool as fuck. Get down there and he goes, where's Marty? "Well, you know where Marty is. He's still in bed because he got a hangover from the night before." So you go racing back up to his motorhome, bang on the side of his RS, head would pop out the top window, eyes literally like they've got blood circulating in every... "What? Mate, it's qualifying in 5 minutes." "Oh, for fuck's sake." Like this. So I'd go back to the awning, jump on my bike, and all of a sudden I'd look on the big screen. There'd be Marty Nutt pop up on the screen. P1. Like this. She's like, "How?" Like this. Dennis Hobbs, P2. Like both of them must have still been like annihilated. I pulled back in. I've done the whole session. Both their bikes are parked up. "Where's Marty?" I saw his name on the thing. "Oh yeah, it's on pole. And done 3 laps, gone back to bed." I was like, "Oh God, I've got to start drinking.
You took up the challenge and you've done pretty well with it, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm not very good. I'll get 2 or 3 in and it looks better than it is.
By the way, to paint the scene for people who've just clicked on thinking, who's Darren Fry, let me just paint the scene here. He's one of the owners of FS3 who have Jason O'Halloran, Max Cook. Give me a list of your riders. Give me a list of your riders.
We start with Billy Connell.
Billy Connell.
Billy Connell.
Didn't know. Yeah. Billy was our first rider, and he was an eye-opener. He's brilliant, still one of my best mates. He's just a great lad. And then Danny Buchan.
Yeah.
And then Lee Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously since you. Yeah.
Rory Skinner.
No, I've gone back to Rory.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then we had obviously the 2 clean living lads, and then in between I get this retrobate Scotsman that doesn't know how to cut his hair, and and he's the best kid that's ever come along, and but they've all ended up good mates. They've all the lads that have ridden for us, they've ended up good mates. I was on the phone to Rory the other day, but it's so funny, they're just such different characters. But I remember Rory coming to the workshop, and I sent a picture to Craig at Kawasaki. I said, "Just sign Rory," and he's like, "Well, he needs to cut his hair then."
Hold on. Yeah. Craig Watson, Captain Kawasaki, told him to cut his hair.
He needs to cut his hair and have a shave.
Said Watson,
"Mate, that ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen." But they're all such different characters, and it's been a blast.
So how many of them have you told to pick up their drinking then? Just to paint that scene that you have had. See, you are one of the top contenders in PSB, period. That is the facts of it, and you're like, we've just measured your blood alcohol level, and unfortunately it's not up to contract state.
Can you top up?
I couldn't even get Rory to off water.
No, I know. I've tried that.
Yeah.
Do you want an orange juice? No, one drink orange juice. What do you want? Just a water? Fizzy water? No water.
Do you know what? I've got a really nice story about Rory, right? So taken to the TT where he gave me COVID, which was brilliant. Anyway, so we're up at the Knockhill test, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing after this?" I said, "Oh, going straight back down, going to the TT." "Oh, I don't been to the TT." I says, "All right, do you want to go?" He's like, "Oh, can I?" Yeah, no problem. So anyway, meets him over there. We takes him everywhere. We had great time, absolutely brilliant. Love the kid to bits, right? And then he comes down with COVID. So give that to everybody. That was mega. But we're at Gooseneck. Went up there with a couple of lads from Kawasaki, and I absolutely love this about Rory, right? So he's very plain eater, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Such a good polite mannered kid, just drinks water, just have water, thank you, this, that and the other. Anyway, Dean from Kawasaki grabbed him
Is that No Socks Dean?
No Socks Dean. And the one that
We'll
used
have
to
to tell you that one off there.
Yeah, the one that used to be attractive, but he's going downhill dramatically. Don't tell him I
talking
said
about
that.
Dean Cleary here.
Yeah, Dean Cleary.
Used to be attractive.
Used to be attractive.
No.
I don't want to veer off the subject here, but that's a real shocker for me that used to be attractive.
Do you not find him attractive? Oh, mate, I can't.
I've got a little nugget of information about Dean that I can maybe share with you one day.
No. You're chasing the race.
Oh, sorry.
Share.
No.
Share.
You're the shit now.
I'm sorry, all our listeners will be tuning in now going, Duncan, you're a shite bag. Come on, tell everyone.
We'll come back to that after your race story.
So Dean went and got, all the water's coming in cans now and stuff. And Dean went and got, I said he'll have water. He went, oh, you two married? I was like, no, he'll have water. Come back with a can of water. And that's how much Rory has never drank anything but water. And that is like genuinely, how to open a can?
Shut up, man.
He's never had a fizzy drink. He's dedicated his life to racing. And I thought it was the nicest thing ever, because I thought the kid was just...
Well, how the fuck did he land a Monster Energy contract?
They've done screw tops. The Rory edition.
So I hope this pod reaches Monster Energy. They'll be like, we're going to have to start interviewing our athletes. Can you open a can of sugary shite?
He was like, mate, I've never drank the shit. I drink water.
He's a very plain eater, a very plain drinker.
Yeah.
Bloody good guy though at the end of the day.
Oh, mate,
diamond, it's salt of the earth.
Yeah. I rang him the other day and I was like, how's your leg, mate? And he's like, yeah. Those idiots pulled my knee off and put the rod straight down the middle. I went, right. He went, what do they do that for? I went, it was kind of the only way to get to the top of your leg. Oh, I'm not very happy about that. I was like, right, we'll have see if we can arrange a different operation.
Send them a letter and see what they say to you. I think we're quite lucky to have one of the Superbike team bosses in here, because don't make that facial expression, because this is a busy weekend for you. You're Brands Hatch, you're in the middle of the season. This is where the season really starts to count and kick in.
Yeah.
And FS3, we'll cover the Darren Fry race a little bit later on maybe, but for you coming into this part of the season, you've had a victory with Jason O'Halloran already. That's been ticked off the box. Where do the boys see themselves at just now, and where do you see yourself at? Dom, what's going on here?
No. I'll tell you what, that's a fantastic question, but I want to go back a little bit further. I do apologise. I want to know, how the hell did you become a team boss?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the amount of people in this world going, I'll give that a go, or I'd love to do that. Something ticked off in your head. You've gone from racer, championship winner, the try options, you know what I mean? Your drinking stepped up.
Drinking champion.
Yeah. And then you thought, you know what? I want to run a race team. Tell me the story.
That's a good point.
How it came about, why it came about, and how was it going after that?
Downhill rapidly. So it's quite. I was just talking about it earlier, actually. So I was racing for JHP and doing the front, but I kind of got involved with trying to help Rick run it and the presentation and all that sort of thing. And then myself and Rick started talking, be cool to run a proper team and, in something higher up. And then we talked to Tim Maccabee at Ducati UK, and he was like, look, we'd really like something to run a proper Superstock team. And then Rick and his dad had already been and run Superbike team, so well over the years that they got more involved in it. John was like, nah, I don't want to get back involved. Totally get that. So anyway, very long story short, I was on the grid at Silverstone, front row of the grid, and I looked left, and there was an 18-year-old. I looked right, there was a 19-year-old, and I thought, they kind of don't give a shit whether they come back from this or not, and I've got a business and kids, and I thought, I'm done.
Yeah.
And no, all of a sudden I was like, just sat on the grid, and I thought, and I spoke to my dad about it, and he says, you'll know when you're done. It'll just...
Was your father a racer then?
Yeah, motocross. So,
right, in the property bend of it all.
Yeah,
then.
Exactly. Proper racer.
So were you a disappointment when you failed at motocrossing?
I was disappointed in many ways. My great-grandfather was an alcoholic, so I'm a disappointment because I can't drink. But yeah, I'm not very good at golf. My granddad played off scratch, so I'm sort of the end of a line, really. I'm like, I like the dry bit that just comes out at the end. But yeah, so we were doing this thing, and I came back in. I was on the podium or whatever, and Nigel went, jump back. So Nigel Snook had sold his businesses, etc., etc. Loved motorbikes, used to race at club level, got loads of brilliant stories to tell you. The back of the van cooking breakfast on the way when his mate's driving in, TZs and all that sort of. And we just hit it off straight away. He's a great guy, and anyway, we got talking. He sponsored JHP a bit, threw a bit of money in, helped out with some tyres and whatever. And he said, how would you run it if you... And I thought, he wants to do something more. So we went and had a chat with Tim Maccabee at Ducati, and he was like, really want someone to run the Superstock team. We're all spoke to JHP about it. So when I come down from the podium that day and said, I'm done, he went, no, you're not done. I went, wait, I'm done. I've decided I'm done. He said, well, we best start that little team then, shouldn't we? So when I saw Tim, and he said, so we've done all the figures, and because I'm back of the fag packet bloke, I'm never too far out, but he's a proper budget, and we're down to the last penny, spreadsheets and accountants checking it. And
Chrissy would have loved them.
Yeah.
Chrissy would have loved them.
And he basically got to the same sort of figure, and we sat there one day at the office at work, and we got to £250,000 to run 2 Superstock Ducatis properly and all that lot. He's like, by the time you've invested in all the equipment and so on and so forth. And I said, mate, you can't do that. Anyway.
What year was this, sorry?
2015, 16.
Right.
Yeah. So
not long ago, really.
No. So sat one evening I said, tell you what, one of my mates, Dave Parks, used to run GSE, or be a big part of GSE racing. I said, he's only around the corner. I said, we'll get him in for a coffee, just pick his brains. So he sat there having a coffee. He says, right, so you've got to push the figures in front of him. And you can do what? Run Superstock for Ducati UK. Okay. And 250 grand? Yeah. Are you nuts? We went, well, sounds like it, yeah. He went, just run a Superbike. We went, whoa, what are you on about? He said, just run a Superbike. You haven't got a truck, you haven't got to have an awning, you get a garage, people want to sponsor you, etc. So, well, we can't afford to do that. He went, hold on, make a call. Puts his phone on the table, rings Birdie. Right, Birdie. Got these 2 idiots that want to go racing motorbikes. He said, well, they're fucking idiots then, aren't they? Said, anyway, got chatting to him, and he said, it works out, that was the time he was changing to Ducatis. So
right.
He says, look, they might be interested in one of the bikes. He said, I'm not selling a bike, I'll sell everything that's got Kawasaki written on it. And he came up with a figure which was probably less than half of what the figure we were looking at. And he went, come up, you give me the money and you take everything, but you need 4 vans. And Nigel went, yeah, all right then. I was just sat there, I thought, oh shit, what have we done?
What have we done?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's how we went to Superbike Racing. Bought 2 DPD vans and took them up to Birdie's, filled them up with all the stuff. Dave Parks drove one back, went back with another one, filled that one up, came back, laid on the floor, had a heart attack.
Hold on. Whoa. Sorry, are you talking hypothetically, or are we talking at natural,
real
genuine?
Yeah.
God.
In a room full of coffins.
At your business.
Yeah. That's a perfect lead into the next part of it. It's a bit like, so what were you and Nigel doing for careers beforehand? I know the answer, but I'm looking forward to you telling everyone.
It's a bizarre thing where you take your riders to go and meet the bikes, have to walk through the day job, don't they?
Through the day job into the back job. So Nigel was into further education, so he used to do.
Looks the type.
Yeah.
You look at him and go,
loves a kid,
loves tweet.
So he's into further education, so he used to do examination boards, and I'm keeping a straight face here. Come on, pull it together. So he used to do examination boards and so forth, and float them on the stock market and He'll tell me I've said all that wrong, but basically...
Not the kid bit.
Yeah, it's just the kid bit. Yeah.
The stock market bit. I'm really upset about your comment.
But he made his money that way, and then he sold all that out, and I do basically, we're the oldest continuously trading company in Coventry, older than Jaguar cars, Cash's silks, Rotham's watches, etc., Climax engines. So we supply and make everything that you can think of that the funeral director and coffin manufacturer might need. So we make about 1,000 coffin interiors a day. We sell handles, ash caskets, mortuary equipment, you name it. The funeral director wants, that's what we do.
How old's that business then? If you're saying
1839 is where we can definitely trace it back to, but we think, so when we knocked the old factory down, the archaeologists came in, and 3 factories down, there was a massive haul of coffin pins. So they think we went back to the 1600s at one point.
And that's Clark and Strong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you come to Clark and Strong, it's coffins in the front, bikes in the back. Keeps the locals away, seeing the coffins in the front and hide the bikes at the back, really.
Yeah, touch my bike, you'll fit in one of these when we see up on the way through. So has that been in the family name? Has that been the family business that entire time?
No.
Or has it been,
so my granddad went to work for them in the 60s.
Right.
He was a funeral director. Left school at 14 to build coffins. They used to put blocks on the end of his feet so he could drive the hearses at 15. That's how he taught me to drive. He says you should always drive so the head never hits the one end and the feet never hit the other. So always gentle on the brakes and easy on the throttle.
The body in the coffin you're talking about. Oh my God.
And he always used the analogy when I was racing as well. He says you don't want anything to hit the end, either end, do you? Just easy on the throttle, steady on the brakes. That's why I was good in the wet, I think. But yeah.
That's amazing.
Some story that, but actually.
Yeah.
So I want to go down this family history element. So your granddad... Sorry, hold on, 60s. Carry on.
My granddad left school at 14, went to work for a funeral directors, building coffins.
Yeah.
Eventually ended up running the funeral directors, and the company that we now own came and sort of poached him because they wanted a funeral director to sell to funeral directors, to sell products to funeral directors.
Makes sense, yeah.
So he went there, and then the 2 directors over a period of sort of 15 years passed away. And the family of the directors basically said to my granddad, look, we'd like you to buy the business. And so they valued it at £5. Wow. And the bank manager still sold him to walk away from it. And that was all the stock, machinery, goodwill, everything.
But there's always a trade there.
Exactly.
It's not a dying trade, mate.
Definitely.
You see what he done there?
Death and taxes.
Yeah.
Death and taxes.
Exactly. But he took it on. And at the time, we had 37 girls working there.
Any jobs going?
Yeah. You're not seeing a cov lass, have you? And they used to make 120 interiors. You're a proper.
Did you just see that?
I saw that.
Did everybody see what Dom just did with that bottle?
I was trying to do it quick enough that you carry on the story.
Do you have real teeth?
Well,
It's like
I've had a couple of knocked out.
Well,
You don't get a charming looking
I haven't
face like
seen
mine.
anybody do that since I was down Glenrose High Street.
Yesterday.
Yeah, the guy who lived 3 years.
Hey, times are hard in Chasin The Racin. Please sponsor us. Carry on. Ball openers. This is class. Carry on. Keep going.
I don't know where did we get to?
Well, they bought the business for £5. 37 girls looking there.
37 girls making 120 coffin interiors a week, and now we make 1,000 a day. So my granddad was a bit of a genius with machinery, so he automated everything.
Yeah.
So we just carried that on. So.
I like the fact that there was racing in the family as well. That your dad was a motocross, or would it be scrambling back then?
Scrambling.
Yeah.
And
what
Dave
did,
Bickers.
What did he scramble on?
All sorts, but Husqvarna's. Well, funny enough, we found. So there was a guy in Rushden when I was still racing motocross. There's a guy in Rushden used to run the local motocross meetings. And to get to Cambridge, Ellsworth motocross track where I used to want to ride every week, used to go through Rushden. There was all these old motocross bikes out there. Anyway, when he died, his son rang me. He's like, Dad ever rode a Husky? I said, yeah, he was a factory rider for like 3 years. He went, really? I said, yeah. He says, I've got a bike here that's got W. Fry printing the frame on the engine cases.
Wow.
I was like, right. And I rang my dad and he went, oh, it's my factory Husky.
Wow.
And it worked out this guy's dad had been over to Husqvarna when it was on its knees, and just bought everything off them and stored them, and it got 600 or 700 pre-65 motocross bikes, of which one of them. So that's in my office now.
Did he sell it back to
I was
you?
about to say, you must have got a bought
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it's absolutely immaculate, and we've never restored it or anything.
Have you got any photos of it?
Yeah.
You'll have to send us that.
Sure.
We'll put it on the amount of people wanting to see that will be phenomenal.
It's a proper Steve McQueen looking.
Cool.
Stop.
Proper
Long
big
seat.
kit.
Yeah.
long
Lovely.
seat,
Air
red
cooled.
tank. Yeah, air
Ring,
cooled.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Red
Does it run?
tank. 250. This is so 250. It was stamped on the frame 250, stamped on the engine 250, and Dad went, "That's a 360."
Yeah, some things never change in the Fry household.
Yeah, exactly. Big engines. Yeah.
That's
I'm
cool.
not talking.
That's cool. That like so old school scrambling. Did you go to that with him when he was young?
No,
Or was
he
it
sort of finished. He kind of finished that, went into the family business, and then his best mate ran Brandon Speedway. So
Okay.
we used to be up Speedway every Saturday night, every Wednesday night.
So you were kind of brought up with some sort of racing, whether it was Speedway or
stood on the outside of the turn, getting covered in shale, and then go motocrossing the next day.
Yeah.
And then he sort of went down a different route, and he got Asa Moyse. Do you know Asa Moyse?
Yeah, I know the name.
So he was riding road racing in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, okay.
He now lives in Ireland making classic bike tanks. So he sponsored him. Just like Dad didn't have much money or whatever. He just like wanted to be around the bikes, but couldn't kind of finish racing.
Yeah.
Went into the family business and whatever, and then went from there. And he ended up getting big mates with Steve Parrish. So he sponsored Steve Parrish, and the way he used to sponsor Steve Parrish, so they used to do Macau every year. So you used to get a TZ750 sent to Macau. He'd buy the TZ750. Steve would race it in Macau. Then this is the story I was told, and Steve hasn't denied it. Then do you remember when? Oh, you're too young. All the hooky watches were about for years. Hong Kong.
Because you can get like a day visa now, and you're just straight into China. So I can imagine.
So they used to then empty the engine of all the parts, fill them with all the hooky watches. Bring the parts back as spares, and then bring them back to the UK. Drop them in the UK, take the engine apart, and sell all the hooky watches. So there was Rolexes and
What a lot of hard work to get a couple of watches back.
Exactly.
Stripping down a TZ750.
They used to fill the cases with them and all sorts. But yeah, so he used to buy a TZ750 every year. So then we ended up, for years going around GP paddock.
Selling watches.
Yeah, exactly. And there was me and
Darren Fry in a trench coat like that.
What about watch?
Nothing on, like just the watches.
Watches hanging on his nipples.
Buy a watch and I'll close the jacket.
But no, it's me and Scott Smart used to kick around for years together down, like we're sitting in Brands now, and I used to fill our little automatics up in the morning. We used to be on what's now the rally course until we ran out of fuel, push it back, fill it back up, and all of that lot. And it used to be brilliant.
I like the fact that you got brought up with racing, so that's where it comes from. Because some people come into it in a different way, different angle. It's kind of the way I came into it as well. I was brought up with that. But that's pretty cool. But it was a different side. Where did the whole road racing thing come from? Was it the love of Steve Parrish or not the love of Steve Parrish? Sorry,
from my side, I rode motocross for years, and genuinely the reason I went road racing was because I just got sick and fucking tired of washing
bikes. Really?
And I remember being out in the cold and the frost one night. My dad sat inside having a Chinese, and I'm thinking, fuck this. I'm over this. I'm just over it. You couldn't move the next day because, that's what motocross is, isn't it? However much you train, it still hurts you.
They're still buggered out.
And anyway, so Bob McMillan, ran Honda UK, and I got to know him and Steve McMillan, and Steve was doing Supersport 600 and so on and so forth, and got chatting to us. I'd love to have a go at this. Anyway, done a track day on GSXR 600. That was it. I thought, right, I'm in. Got talking to Steve, and he got a steel frame CBR that he'd run that year. Went up, another one of those deals. Just bring a bucket full of cash, and I filled this VW transporter with just like to the roof with all ex-Honda UK bits and pieces, and built this CBR. And I remember my dad and my granddad saying, "Nope, never going to support you road racing. Lost too many mates at it. Never. Like, that's it. We're done. We're not helping you." And I'm like, I want to go road racing. I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I've bought it now.
Now you see, in like on Chasin The Racing, it's like, are we talking we would class TT being road racing, or are you talking about the top, like just short circuits?
Short circuits.
It's interesting because you're saying I've lost too many friends in short circuits. But it's quite. I thought
but at the time, if you think about it, you were back to Dad was big mates with Jock Taylor, and
you had to do everything.
You were losing. Yeah. Even at short circuits, you were losing people left, right, and centre. It's horrible,
and it was certain circuits back then, which wasn't, not that you're too old, but back in the day, even in the 80s and the 90s, the 80s, I have to say, they weren't anything as safe as what we have nowadays.
Exactly.
Thankfully, we're blessed with some big runoff and some cracking things, features like reckless on that. That wasn't around then.
It's a totally different sport now, but. Yeah, so Dad and my granddad were like, that's it, you're on your own. Anyway, I bought this CBR 600. My dad's mate, he was a Speedway rider at the time, went, well, I'll go with him to Mallory on a Wednesday to have his first go. Went round, and I saw them both on the bank on the exit of Gerrard, and they still, to the day they both died, never admitted they were there.
Really?
Yeah. But then they were hooked, and they were like,
did they put their hand in the pocket?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we had a great time.
So Mallory was the first place
Mallory was the first time, and because I'm running sort of around the
Can you remember the first time you got your knee in the ground?
Yeah.
Was it followed by your elbow and your shoulder and everything?
Yeah, he was getting married.
Can you remember what corner and how it happened?
Gerrard's.
I mean, I can remember it for me to this
Gerrard's.
day.
Tipped into Gerrard's. I got more and more confident.
Fuck off! If you can't get your knee down from Gerrard's, you want your head checked. It's from here to Newcastle with Brands Hatch.
I love Gerrard's.
And did it touch the ground and you went, oh, did it come back up?
No, I kind of tipped in. I thought, oh, this feels good. And then all of a sudden got... I thought, oh yeah, that's it. I'm in.
I'm a man.
And now it's like, I just sat in the debrief with Max, and he's like, yeah, when your elbow goes down and that touches down, and just the front just feels loose. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, I don't know what that's like, but I can see it.
Like that, because I have to rest it over the top of my belly.
Hold on. You're downplaying yourself here. I've seen you at No Limits endurance races. You dish out some portions, my man.
They're big leathers, aren't they?
I tell you what, they are big. There's a lot of cow.
You need a bit more black in the side.
There's a lot of cow. You know what I mean? It's that
kangaroo will have, multiple.
All right, massive. Not all of us can afford kangaroo.
Kangaroos.
It's the only ones I can kill on max.
I'm only joking. I'm only kidding. You look good in them. There's a lot of green though. A little bit more black. Black's just slim in colour, as you can see.
Yeah, it's not working tonight.
I'm trying.
I'll tell you what, I must ask you, right? And you're probably never going to admit to this, but are you like your dad and your granddad?
Yeah.
It's your attitude towards life, I mean.
Yeah. So my granddad was a proper gentleman, and my dad was a rascal.
Definitely not. You're right.
Yeah, and my dad was a rascal.
That's exactly you then, yeah.
And my nan was somewhere in between, so I always think I'm actually like my nan, because she was from Yorkshire and she was just naughty, and she was she was just a bugger, great. And she ruled the family. But she was a bugger, and she was.
See, I think you're a gentleman, but I also think you're a bit of a boy as well.
But you got a bit, haven't you?
Yeah,
you got a bit, a little bit.
Was your gran in the business as well?
No, she ruled it from home. If you know what I mean.
No. So she was involved in the undertaking.
No, not really. No. She was just my granddad ran it, and then he thought he was the boss until he got home, and then he got told what to do.
Love it.
Yeah. So she sort of ruled it. It's quite funny because we all worked together. My dad and granddad used to fall out on a regular basis to the point, and then she'd have to get involved and sort it out. So in the end, when I started working there, she sat us all down and said, right, third generation, no more falling out. You come to the house, you have dinner. If you have a fallout, you can call out anything you want, each other, anything you want. You leave it at work. And that was the best thing that ever happened, because we could literally call each other anything you think of and go out for dinner that night.
Yeah.
And have a great laugh. You just leave it where. And I think that's a really good life lesson for anything you do. Like, have an argument in the garage, leave it in the garage.
Leave it behind. Don't drag it home. Don't drag it around with you.
No, exactly.
It's a hell of a weight to carry around.
Because looking at the family business with your dad and everything, you've come from, like, unfortunately, you know, every vulnerable family, you know, in their darkest hours when they lose someone. Now, your business is very much do I dare say, the hub of that.
Yeah.
So your job is quite literally the darkest days of everyone's family.
Yeah.
So how do you keep? You are the happy, like.
Yeah.
You are such a positive person. That must. No, mate, you run a race team. You're going to be fucking miserable most of it.
No, trust me. Yeah.
No, but your outlook.
But I think we're quite lucky because we're one step removed. So we supply the fume directors. So we spend a lot of time fume. I couldn't be a fume director because I would take it all in too much. You know, I'd take it all, I'd sponge it up, I'd take it on, you know, kids and youngsters, and, you know, it breaks you. And everybody forgets, especially through COVID, I'll get serious for a second, especially through COVID, the police and the NHS staff and you know, everybody was amazing. Like, whichever way you look at it, whatever your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But the unsung heroes of that were the fume directors. They dealt with it inside out, upside down, had to get on with it, and I couldn't have done it. And some of the things you saw during that period, you can argue with people till they're blue in the face whether they believe in COVID, and that doesn't bother me. But what those people went through was amazing, and I'll never forget that. And they're a special breed. I couldn't personally do the face-to-face bit. I'd take too much of it on. But they're special people, but they got a wicked sense of humour. They're dark, twisted, lovely sense of humour, and it makes you do think you look at it every day and you think you just got to crack on because, like, tomorrow might come.
You're only here once, you know.
Exactly.
Let's have fun while we're here.
I've got a warehouse full of 1,500 coffins. You walk up there each day.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you walk
what I
up there some days and you're having a bad day and you think, I'm going to lay in one of them for a long time, so just crack on with it, shut up and get on with it. Yeah. So,
because how many people work, like, how many people work with you?
25.
25. Yeah. Now, is that an attitude that is reflected in everyone, to be blunt?
Yeah, pretty much.
You see,
especially like the girls that work in the factory, they're lovely, hard-working girls. Yeah.
37.
37. But
100.
the people that are dealing with the fume directors every day, they definitely pick up that you know, that sense of let's just get on with it. And I think that combined with the road race, with the keep calling it road racing.
Well, no, you can't. I just want, you know, for people listening, you know, to,
I was brought up about being road racing as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it was called in my family as well.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? But that combined with racing, you know, you just a different breed of people, you know. And I think racers, as daft as it sounds, have got very similar outlooks to fume directors. You just pick yourself up, get on with it. Strap a finger together, strap a leg together. All you can think of is getting back on the bike. Yeah. But that's the same as professional horse riders, professional, you know, rugby players, etc., etc.
It's passion, isn't it?
It's passion, and you accept.
Yes.
You accept. Unfortunately, you accept the terrible side of things because, you know,
Does your job make you happier? You know, your outlook. No, you know, I know that's such a bland question and very, you know, but it's like, unfortunately, you deal. I completely agree with the fact that you feel like you're not on the front line, but you're very much involved in the business, like heavily involved in the business. And the fact is, every day you are going up to work and looking at coffins. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have them.
But I look at coffins like a pile of tyres.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's money.
It's a commodity and it's going to be sold. But what you do like is, so if we get a fume director to ring up and they go, look, this family, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, go and pick some random, make up some stupid story, but she was a massive fan of Mr. Blobby, right? So
where did that come from?
The mirror. it's like, pink with yellow spots. Can you do a coffin interior?
All right.
Yeah, of course we can. Well, don't know how, but we'll make it. And then you get a note from the family. Absolutely the best thing that ever happened. Blah 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 blah. She'll be, and it's ridiculous. But that's the sort of thing that makes you happy. That's making a family happy. And making
in their worst hour, you're making them feel a little bit better.
Exactly. But I think you're back to the bike racing.
Yeah.
If somebody crashes here and really hurts himself, what happens? Everybody comes round. Right, what can we do? Can we get the van home? Can we get,
Yeah.
We'll come to the hospital. That's bike racing, and I just think it's that attitude that just makes this sport different to so many.
I completely agree. Yeah. It's like a
family, a big family, and everybody wants to help.
It's
two intentions.
When we lost Chrissy, it's just Chrissy wasn't the first, and unfortunately it won't be the last. But it's just how this sport reacts to our own.
Exactly.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Chrissy, you know all this, but Chrissy had moved literally a few units down from where we are to do the...
Well, he was working for Global Moto,
and he was happier than I'd ever seen him, and he'd pop in. But the first time I ever opened the door to him and he saw the coffins, God, I thought he was going to go backwards through the glass. He's like, what the... I was like, mate, that's what I do. I was like, oh, right. And he kept side glancing them as he walked past them, bless him. And
please tell me you have a comical bloke measuring them up. Like they did in the Westerns.
Just see your fingers. 6'2", Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's my coffin size? No. What's my coffin size? Do I have to stand up for this?
5'8", 20.
Shut up, man.
Yeah.
What am I?
You're a bit wider.
Yeah, you're a bit wider.
Yeah. I go 5'4", 24.
Is that because I've got more girth? Is that what you're trying to say?
Goth. He is, isn't he? He's like, don't let him know that his voice is great.
His voice, doesn't he?
He doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at you looking down the lens. Fucking hell, calm yourself down, man. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Grace will use this camera here for that a little bit.
It's got to be on reels forever.
Yeah.
Goth.
Say it again.
So how do you measure somebody up with a coffin with your fingers in? What do you do?
Oh no, you just take the best guess.
No. He watched Crocodile Dundee once and just went, that is the shit right there. I tell you what, on Chasin The Racin, yes, it's a bike. It's the bike podcast. You know what I mean? That's self-titled. God, I've had too many beers here, getting a bit massive. But it's I must talk about your sense of humour, and your sense of humour is brilliant. Can we talk about the doll with the eyebrows?
Oh, the doll of death.
The doll, right? This is brilliant, right? And then we've got another one now. Now I met Darren Fry, right, at. Was it the London Bike Show or the Birmingham NEC? And I
I was so ill that big time.
Mate,
I met Darren Fry at the London Bike Show.
Because I took that dwarf's. I took the dwarf's coffin down in the 911, didn't I?
That was right. Jesus, honestly, the thing is, within meeting, like what you're seeing here on YouTube or listening on audio is exactly how. I'm assuming the same with you, Duncan. This is how we met him. Yeah. It's just flat out. But can you please explain the doll? It is the best thing.
So when we moved into the new place, we bought this new factory by the airport, and I was like, oh God, it's going to be great. I'm going to do this. We're going to have this. Anyway, we were going through it, and all of a sudden come across this cupboard, and this doll fell out with these great big black eyebrows and bright blonde hair that looked like he'd been chopped by a 3-year-old psychopath.
We're talking Chucky on steroids. It's terrifying.
So, of course, we were moving into this factory, and sometimes the lights were on, sometimes the lights were off because the electricians were in there moving everything around. So that was the game then. We used to tie it from a piece of like the lace that goes on the side of the coffin linings and hang it from doors and stuff like that. So in the pitch black, it'd swing out. But to this day, the doll suddenly turns up in cupboards and falls out at you, or you pull a chair out, it's just sat there going. But yeah, the doll of death. Oh, Chrissy used to love the doll of death.
Honestly, I was howling because there's me. You know when you walk away. Bearing in mind, I met him for 5 minutes, and I'm going, "What a lovely fella."
It's long enough, though, isn't it?
No, it is. It was. But now he's on Chasin The Racin, thanks to Grace. There, but it's no. You know when you meet someone, and go, "You're full of shit." Whatever. Within 4 seconds, nice to meet you. Lovely fella. Ping. There's the doll of death on me phone. I'm going, yeah, Darren doesn't fuck about here. I'm 100%. I'll tell you what, like, there is, like, I must explain, like, how, like, how dedicated your family is to the business and like how tight it is as a unit. Because when you actually finish school, what age did you leave school?
Left at 16.
Left at 16, and now I feel like I'm going to paint it, but you're going to fill in the gaps. But Darren left school assuming he was just going into the family business.
Yeah,
that was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it, Darren. Go for it.
I know the story you're on about.
Oh, I love this.
So I sort of just presumed, because I'd just always worked at the factory, that I'd go straight into the factory, and I didn't care what I was doing as long as I was like, because I never really got school, because I used to go to the factory, get paid, got treated like an adult, and put a day's shift in. Went to school, hated it, everybody, hated everything, got talked to like shit, and paid for the
didn't get
privilege.
paid. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway,
All about the cheddar.
Yeah, left school on the Friday, and my granddad said to me, "So what are you going to do then?" I went, "Oh, just start work." He went, "Not job for a year here." What do you mean? "Oh, you can't just walk into a job and not just sack somebody just so you can." "I'll do anything." No. You have to go and find your way first. So I've done about 4 or 5 days in a workshop working on cars. I thought, "Oh, that's not for me. That's not for me. Too many wheels, etc., etc." And then, so I thought, right, I've got to prove to them that I really want to be in the funeral trade. So I rang my dad's mate in Portishead. I said, "Glyn," I says, this, he's like, "I was just trying to, wants you to prove that you want to really do it. Come work for us." And he said, "You can do 3 or 4 months for us, get a bit of experience in the future."
What did he do?
He's a funeral director.
Oh, right, okay. Right, another one, yeah.
So you have been on the, you're saying you wouldn't do their job, but you have been on the front line, you know what I mean? So,
It was, the washing the cars and the,
Yes,
lobbing things where they shouldn't be, and but anyway, so he said, "Oh, we're on coroner's duty, so you can live above the garage where the cars are, but you will have to get up in the night. The lads will pick you up and go and move bodies." Oh, this is not for me, this isn't. Anyway, I thought, I've got to prove the point. So it was about the fourth night, we got a call from the old people's home. This is a different story. Got a call from the old people's home.
Oh, no. Come, we're going to have a Chasin The Racin after hours, so you can come when we've got a few more Hawks Head beers, we'll get the other story. But this is, I haven't heard this one, so we went
to pick this lady up from the old people's home. Got a phone call the next morning. "Did you pick Mrs. So-and-so?" Yeah. "Right, we put the wrong teeth in." and a friend's trying to have breakfast, so can we nip down and get her teeth? And
no.
So that was my first go. I'm like, oh god. Anyway,
gloves or not?
No, didn't have gloves in those days.
You saucy bastard.
Pair of marigolds.
Slightly strange question, Dom.
And then we went about 2 weeks later. We got called out so when the moon's right and the tide's at its lowest and so, if somebody's unfortunately jumped off the Clifton Suspension Bridge, etc., and their body was spotted in the mud flats, right? So, but they've obviously got him feet first, stood up, right? Blah 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 blah. Right, so we go wading through the mud, great big weddies, and I'm like, oh god, I'm not cut out for this. Anyway, so
this is in the pitch black.
Yeah, pitch black, and the police are there, and you can see the flashlights around, and the fire brigade are there, and whatever.
That'd be terrifying. That'd be horrible stuff. That.
So we get down, and I was with this bloke. He must have been, I don't know, in his 70s, done it for years. "Come on, just get on with it." Throw some gloves at me. They were like the ones you shove up cows' asses. Like, oh god, this is going wrong. This is
gauntlets.
All of a sudden, see this bloke that's obviously been in the water for a long, long time in the mud flat.
And you're 16.
Yeah, so he's got this bloke's got a spade. He starts digging around. He said, "As soon as you hear the sort of thing,
the suction,
start to pull."
Grab him.
Pull where? He's like, "You put your arms underneath his arms and just pull up." I'm like, "Oh Jesus!" So I got hold of this. I shouldn't really say this. The bloke off of Men in Black. The one. So he kind of looks spitting image of him, really, right? Because he's obviously been well pickled in the seawater.
Yeah, for a while.
So he's like, "Pull," and I'm like, "I'm pulling." like this, digging his, I could like this, I'm pull. He's like, this isn't working. Right, just grab his arms and just lean backwards and I'll keep digging and put the pressure on. Then both his arms come off.
Oh, no.
And I'm laying on my back. Well, he's been in the water weeks, hasn't he? I'm laying on my back thinking, with 2 arms in,
Can't handle it.
thinking, I rang my dad the next day, I said, mate, I'm either in the business or I've got to do something different because I'm not doing that again. Yeah, that was the turning point.
Did you get a job? Did you get a job in the business?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Making boxes and sweeping floors is a damn sight better than pulling arms off, that's a fact.
God.
Yeah.
16 years old and you pulled 2 arms off a bloke.
Yeah, that kind of finished me with
Yeah,
Hugo
absolutely,
Exeter,
yeah. A 70-year-old man saying, pull harder.
And then there's the coppers and the fire brigade there. Whoa, like this, I'm like, oh, yeah, now you're not the one lying here with 2 arms in your hand. With
You're sitting there with 2 vet gloves with a cigarette.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pull yourselves together, you soft bastards. Pull yourself together.
Yeah,
Shit's getting real.
Oh, that's awful.
Have you ever used that threat? Because I think I've met a man finally who's actually can use that threat. I'm going to rip your arms off. Like, you know, I tell you what, I've got a mate. I've got a mate who will.
Who has?
Only if you marinate in seawater for 6 weeks.
Yeah, but that's details. No, it doesn't matter. A threat's a threat. Doesn't matter how it's executed, but you have indeed done it. So I've told everyone up north. They're shitting themselves. Some bloke from Colchester is going to turn up.
I actually feel sorry for you for that. You know that, and I've never thought I'd feel that way for you. Actually, but that really do feel sorry
My
for
dad
you.
didn't. He just thought it was.
Did
the
he think it was
funniest thing
lovely?
that ever
Yeah.
happened.
God.
Yeah.
I'd have grown up in the
I saw Glyn at my dad's funeral, and we were recounting the story. And he said, "Oh, it's so funny, wasn't it?" I'm like, "No,
No.
no, it
I
wasn't."
still wake up in the middle of the night screaming.
Yeah. I still tell the story at 52. Yeah,
52? What,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago then?
yeah.
Yeah,
He
okay.
start. Sweet cheeks.
If you don't mind me asking, when did he lose your father then?
18 months ago.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to
So
hear
we
that.
worked together for 30 years.
Fucking hell, man.
So that was pretty. Yeah, it was my granddad, my dad, myself, and now just little old me. So yeah, but no, all good.
No, you know
So
what?
come
no,
racing
just,
for relief.
No, but the mad thing is, you know, at first, you know, when you're saying about you lost your dad, I'm thinking, oh no, don't be too early. But the fact he's seen you
Yeah.
do average.
Yeah,
you know
dude.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Average. Mildly average, you know?
You've read his race report as well.
Oh, I have, mate. He rings me regularly. You know what I mean? Pulled a couple of arms off, thinks he's hard. No. But seriously though, you know, the fact that, you know, he's gone from sitting on a bankside at Mallory.
Oh yeah, no,
that he wouldn't admit.
It was so funny because Dad never ever told me I'd done well, but all his
Class.
mates would ring me and say, "Oh, your dad said you had a wicked day yesterday."
My dad has never said I've done that. No, I'm joking. No, but proper
Say
dads
that,
do that.
Yeah.
They don't tell the kids.
And it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, it doesn't matter. But no, he's he's given me so many opportunities to do all this stuff, and I wouldn't have done it without him. And yeah, he's left me with a bill for it. But yeah,
Who's laughing now?
He's laughing now. Yeah, you thought you got free racing?
Yeah.
Get a sponsor.
Did you? Hell.
Good God! Oh, that
Have
was
you finished that one?
I tell you,
Sure.
I can open another one.
No, you're all right.
No, but let's talk about. So you and Nigel met. So you met in a Ducati
They are.
dealership.
Can I? Because I have
Go
to say,
for it,
you're
mate.
such an. I was going to say awkward couple, but that's not right. You're such a. You're not a couple that you put together. Not that they're a couple. You know, you don't. Well, I don't know. You might do.
It's 21st century.
Yeah,
let it roll, mate. Let
As
it roll.
team leaders go, that you're so opposite from what you see
completely
now.
opposite.
And I think that's maybe a dynamic that works.
Yeah.
Because you get involved in one side of it, and Nigel gets involved in the other. Nigel really, I don't think, crosses into your area, and you don't.
No.
Or do you cross into his?
To be fair, do you know what? We are completely different, and we wind each other off the clock. And we're both fully aware of that, but we never clash to the point we have an argument.
Yeah.
It's just like each one knows when to back off. Each one knows when to, give due sort of diligence to each other's
It's a good partnership.
strengths and weaknesses.
Strong partnership.
Yeah.
No. It's like, when you go back to like leaving in the garage, which is a great philosophy to have. You know what I mean? Just shout it out, bawl it out, and then go have your tea. So you've not even done that.
No.
That's
Never. Nigel.
That's really good.
Nigel is, and I mean this as a massive compliment,
steady.
The initial Nigel that you can meet is very businessman, very corporate, very, the Nigel that's underneath that is a very thoughtful, caring, can say the most outrageous things ever. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what did you say that for? And then you'll say, what did you say that for? Oh, did I say that? Yeah, you did. Oh, are they offended? Yes, they are. Oh, I'll go and find them. So, but no, Nigel's brilliant. It's like putting young Cookie on that 400. He don't need to do that.
Yeah.
He's throwing millions of pounds of his own money to run this team, to set this team up, etc., etc. He's like anybody else. He gets his hair off. He's got a good set of hair, unlike me. But
He has got good hair,
so he can get his hair off. He's like got Lego hair.
Yeah,
Lego.
it's good.
But
It's real, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's real. I've never tugged it hard enough.
Well, I've never tugged Nigel Fry, Nigel Snook. I got that wrong one weekend in Coventry, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Darren Snook and Nigel Fry. And then I thought, did I say that wrong?
It's got a ring to it. But no, he's thrown a lot of his own money behind it. He's like any boss, because ultimately he's throwing the money at it. I said to him right at the start, I said, look, I can provide the infrastructure, I can provide me, I can provide my knowledge, I can provide the people. I want to build a team of like-minded, good people that are all going to get on, all going to rub along. We're not going to have a fractious team. They've got I said, but ultimately, mate, I haven't got the money to burn. So if you want to do it, that's your side of the deal. It's like, oh no, we'll be 50. I said, look, I just want to go racing, and I want to go racing, and I want to win. And I said, but I want to have some fun along the way. I said, so he loves an interview. He loves a
He's
TV
a face,
camera
isn't he?
eyes.
He's a face of FS3.
And I said, front it up. I'm not interested in that. But he does. He loves the camera.
Would he come on the show?
Yeah, of course he would.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can already I can feel
But
your heart too coming on here.
You've got to get him on the old stories, because he's so funny, because obviously he's done extremely well for himself. He's worked bloody hard for it, and I'm not blowing smoke up his arse. He's worked bloody hard for it. He knows the value of money massively. He's no fool. He won't have the wool pulled over his eyes, when it comes to spending on the team. You've got to justify it, and you've got to reason it. He's pretty good with me, because at the end of the day, he knows that if I say we need it, it's because it's been thought through.
Yeah, it's not just not
you won't
something
take
on
the
a whim.
piss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't need 6 of them, we need 3. Etc. Etc. Because I try and always think of it, it's coming out of my own pocket. So he's very good at the business side. He's very good at the contractual side. That's the sort of thing I'd probably do on the handshake and
hope it comes off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas he's very much, let's get it in black and white, and it's saved our ass so many times.
I was about to say, can you run a level of your team on a handshake?
You should be able to.
That's not what I asked. But you can't.
No. There's too many variables, there's too many, you can have somebody on board financially that they get themselves in a pickle. Ultimately you can't be the one that falls down because you haven't got it in black and white. Or they have a change of heart. I don't like racing anymore, or I want to go to that team, or and that's the palette. The money circulates around the team and teams, but I always think to myself, the sponsor, Cheshire Mouldings, that were on board with us before, we're still great friends. There's no, that's how it should be, as well as contractual, and it should be, you spend a lot. It's great.
Yeah, because they've only moved a couple of garages down the pit lane, so
exactly.
And you still see Jackie and John here, who are lovely people,
and they're running Rory, and that relationship came from
you guys,
through us guys, and we couldn't be happier that Rory had the opportunity to come back, and we gave him the opportunity to go to. We could have said no to the Motor2 thing, but we didn't, because we're racers at heart. Both me and Nigel are racers at heart. So and that is, taking the piss aside, that is Nigel's also Nigel's strength, is he's prepared to take the opportunity on a young rider.
Yeah, which we've seen not once, twice, maybe 3 times. With Nigel. So who out of the partnership that you are, because you're a strong partnership, you know, and Nigel is the face, and Nigel gives a good interview as well. I like speaking with Nigel, you know. Reminds me a little bit of Kenneth Williams sometimes. Speak to him, he's so funny, like Will o' the Wisp. Who signs the riders, or do you guys sit down, or does Nigel leave that to you? Because, is it a 50-50 split? Or because where you are now with Kawasaki, do you have to run things past them, or are they happy to leave a little bit, you guys know what you're doing?
It's a discussion between all of us, you know. It's
brilliant question.
I got one in.
It's a discussion between all of us, because that's what a team should be.
Yeah.
You know, I like to get, like, I'm really into giving the youngsters a go, because if we don't give the youngsters a go, we're screwed, aren't we? Mm-hmm. You can't keep circulating the older riders, etc. So you, like, my honest opinion, every team should have a team leader and a youngster, you know, and they should learn from the older statesmen and the knowledge passing through, and you should make sure that information is flowing as well. There's no, I'm not sharing that info, I'm not sharing, you know, we're totally open. You got a youngster there, they can look at your data, you can look at their data, you know, etc., etc.
You've been lucky with your youngsters as well.
Yeah, but
really lucky.
But do you know what? I'm going to say something, and I don't. We've been lucky to a point where we've had the discussion between us. We took everything on board. And we looked at the strengths and weaknesses, and we took a punt, but it's an educated punt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you can do that, it's almost a no-brainer.
But let's talk about how you're going, like, at the beginning of this whole conversation, you were up in commentary booth with Duncan and you're looking about the aggression.
Yeah.
How long does that process take to make, in your words, a punt? Because it doesn't sound like a punt.
It's a hell of a punt, though, when you think about it, because it's an expensive punt at the end of the day, you know. So the risk.
Yeah.
But you see, it's different punts, isn't it? Because not many people know how long Nigel has supported Max in his racing.
Yeah.
He's 4, 5, 6 years into it. And
you're not stripping up for you.
I was hoping so. I'll just
one more beer, and that's when the money comes in, don't you worry.
And he kept saying to me, you know, you need to give Max a go. It's not ready yet.
I remember I had the conversation with you as well about that.
He accepted, look, that's not me blocking this. He needs to do this. And then Nigel would go off and do something like throw him on the side. I disagreed with it.
The Super Sport bike last year, Carl Cox's bike for bench at the end.
No. Before that, on the 600 Kawasaki, when Max kind of came back from doing the Talent Cup and had lost his ride and etc. and Nigel just give him a bike, and I was like, that's the wrong thing to do. And Nigel's like, well, that's what I said. Mega, I'll support it, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. So then the next year, he was like, right, yeah, that was the wrong thing to do. And I said, you need to put him with a team, you need to put him with a structure. I said, and then you saw him shine, and then he nearly won everything. He
won with Dave Bench, the Bench Pro.
Brilliant.
He was away with that, wasn't he?
Great place to learn. Great guy.
Yeah, and we worked together all the way through that. And then, you know, Rory, you know, I liked him to start with. I liked what he did. I liked his background. I liked the graft that his dad had put in behind it. I liked the fact that he was really grounded. And I just said, come down to the workshop. So that was a Saturday afternoon. Nobody there. Just, we'd done the deal there and then.
Chucked the death doll at him.
Yeah, exactly.
He scared the shit out of him and signed him.
He kept the shit. Signed that there, son.
But you knew straight away you were going to work together.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to work.
And that's a friendship again that's lasted since Rory went to Moto 2. Yeah, he's up the pit lane from you, but he's still good friends with you.
Don't get wrong, there's been lots of difficult conversations. You know, I didn't agree with the way that was initially handled. I thought it could have been handled a lot better for both parties, well, for all involved. And we didn't have an argument. I just said, look,
is this in regards to Moto 2?
Moto 2 and his 2 wildcard opportunities.
Right.
I wanted him to do it, but I wanted it to be structured, whereas it felt like he was just getting thrown in, and it was a political. It felt to me that at one point he was a political pawn. In the whole Dorna
global whatever it is,
and I thought, is he going to get a proper go at this? And to be honest, And I went to the MotoGP when he did it. Stuart Shenton, fantastic bloke.
Yeah.
Brilliant bloke. We also sent our crew chief
for Rory this year.
Right.
But
Thank
also-
you. You knew the question you were looking at.
You looked at me with
Also
fear in your eyes.
ex-Schwantz,
Yeah.
Right.
crew chief, etc., etc.
Right.
Legend.
Legend.
There we are.
But could see the structure of the team and the people, and I said to Stuart, "Are you going to give him a proper go next year?" And he says, "Yeah, it seems so." And I was like, "Right." I said, "The team," and he went. And then when it all came to pass, it didn't surprise me, and I just felt massively sorry for the kid.
Yeah, I think
he didn't get the right
all did,
opportunity.
Because we had Rory on the show, and he was sort of like in the car park, man. Literally,
Yeah.
just like,
Oh,
like
it was
what
just-
what's the matter with people, man?
But the point in that was he had to go and try. He had
course
to
he
give
did.
it a shot, and we understood he had to give it a shot. But I wish he hadn't. I wish he had one more year. You got to take those opportunities, haven't you?
We had lengthy conversations
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this whole thing, you
But
know.
one more year with us, one more year just to solidify, get him winning, and then go.
But one more year with you guys might have brought something completely different, and he might have been in the World Superbike part, but never.
Exactly.
If buts and maybes, you never
Exactly.
know. You got to take your chances when you get them, though. And
100%,
I'm a
and that's
big
what I
believer
said
in
to
that.
him. I says, "There's only you can decide whether you need to do this.
Mhm.
So you need to make the decision, and we'll work around it."
So that, I mean, back to Dom's question. Sorry, the punt. How long does it take you to see something in a rider that makes you think,
Oh no, I want
that
to
what
ask.
you're
I want to
asking?
ask one more question before that side of it. So, to be blunt, and the hard question is, why did Rory not end back up on FS3 when he came back?
Because we
To
were already
British.
in a position where we were committed to other riders and a different future, and we'd given Max the opportunity, and we'd have only done an American Racing.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd been great. Yeah. Oh, sorry, but Jacko, I definitely believe Jacko needed that opportunity to lead a team. I definitely felt like he had. I desperately wanted the Jacko thing to work. If I'm totally honest, I like Lee ever so much, and so wanted to do that, but we'd committed to Max, and I thought it was the right time for Max as well. And obviously Nigel was really happy because finally I'd gone,
okay, it's time, yeah.
okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And you should have seen the kid's reaction when we told him in the workshop. It makes it all worthwhile. A bit like his brother winning today. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Class.
That was good, that wasn't it?
yeah, and then you think that's actually what it's all about. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so that's why that didn't unfold. But still, like Rory rang up and he's like, "Look, I got this opportunity, got that opportunity. What do you think?" And I said, "Look, this is my opinion on this. This is my opinion on that. But ultimately, mate, it's only you can decide."
So, but this is the thing. This is what I like about like Chris's podcast is the fact that we can actually get behind it all.
Yeah.
It's the fact of like people just see, oh right, well Lee Jackson's gone there and done this, and like Skinner's not come back to that team. There must have been a fall. Now people see what they want to see, not the actual facts. It's the fact that Rory has a strong friendship with you, and the fact that he's discussing things and going round, and you're a man who puts opportunities on the table and goes, well, we support you with that, but I've got to support these lads. And the fact that Rory, like obviously I wasn't in the room at the time, is going, no, I totally understand, and it's the community element that people don't get from the outside looking in.
We're great friends. I can't get him out of the hospo. All the
That's 'cause
Scottish
it's free food.
Yeah, exactly.
All that free water.
Your hospital's run by a Scotsman, for goodness
Yeah,
sake.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, he's Uccio.
He's the best ever,
But-
Jordan Gill.
Yeah, exactly.
Former tri-options racer as well.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. But Rory still comes. We're great mates, and I'd like to think everybody that's raced with us, I'd like to think we're good friends. I got, like I say, I was probably the most upset of having to make the decision between us all about Lee, really.
Yeah.
But I'd have kept him forever if I could. But at some point, you've got sponsors and you've got manufacturers and at some point you just need to change something.
Of course
now,
you do.
whether that's for the better, or worse.
Because Lee had been part of the family. Lee had been a long time there, and he'd won races with you guys. He'd won his British Superbike race at Donington Park, and it got to a point where it was so high, it just started to tail off a little bit when the whole swinging arm thing came about with this swinging arm, that swinging arm, and you could see you guys in the garage changing swinging arms more than you were changing settings on the bike. And from the outside looking in, we always thought, these are huge things you're changing on the bike. But I always remember you saying to me, but Lee's going to go elsewhere. And I think going to Hawk for him is actually a good thing.
I do,
because another family, and his family has got such a long history with Hawk.
Exactly.
All the way back through his uncle, his dad, a lot, and he knows the Hickens, he knows how they work,
and the Hickens run a brilliant team,
and he's dragging them forwards.
Exactly.
He's taking that team and pulling that Hawk, Master Mac Hawk Honda forward, get the sponsors in for them there.
Smooth, love it.
But I think it's good. I mean, I thought, Lee's away for Kawasaki, that'd be strange. But it's not, because he's still in the paddock, he's still Lee Jackson, he's fast, and we're seeing the progress getting made.
And I said to Lee, never say never.
He could come back,
I said,
run a third bike.
You never know. But you never know.
Nigel's sweating right now. Duncan, whining Egan.
But you never know what's around the corner, do you?
No, exactly.
Exactly. Things can happen, and things can.
Raiders have gone away from teams and come back to teams, and it's part of the paddock. I mean, how many? Can I ask you another question before we go to the punt thing?
Crack on.
I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and it was only yesterday, and I've forgotten who I had the conversation with. So it was about the amount of contract time that riders actually have in the paddock, and most of the riders in the paddock here, because it was a shock to Larry Carter when Ryan Vickers told him that he had a 2-year deal with OMG Gorilla Yamaha. That came out of the blue, and I was like, that because it seems quite strange, because you normally hear that riders are year to year, but is that the way it goes, or have you done something different with Max, got him in a kind of a longer plan, and where's Jason, or are you guys just strictly 1 year at a time and see where you go?
No,
that's a brilliant question.
To be fair, it's a contract that has clauses for both parties.
As in performance clause, either not doing well enough?
No, we don't really put performance clauses in as such. We put more like, look, this is what we can offer.
Right.
This is what we've got to offer. We can see what you've got to offer. If anything, we tend to do like a 1 year plus an option.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if it's not, say it's not working for a rider in the team, not because the team's wrong, not because the rider's wrong, but because it's not gelling.
The thing is, it's a relationship.
Exactly.
Like any environment, work environment, if you don't, fuck it, it's like buying a house. If you don't like your neighbour, you may love the house, but you just don't want to live there. You know what I mean? It's
So 1 year plus an option. So you sign him for a year and you have an option for following year. When do you start making? I mean, we're in July. Are you looking at? Are you already talking with Jason?
You're talking with Jason. Like Max is probably a little bit of a different animal to what we've ever had because of his relationship with Nigel, bringing him on and helping him through the 5-6 years.
Yeah.
We'd hope ultimately he'd appreciate the fact that he's on a learning curve, and there'll always be people that knock on his door and say, especially even when we went to Thruxton last year, he led that race.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
Wasn't it great?
He's got to have had phone calls.
Yeah,
people would be stupid not to have.
Does he have a manager, Max, or is Nigel kind of?
No,
or how's it go?
No, he doesn't.
Right.
But Nigel kind of manages
Max,
but that's not to say if Max turned around and said, "Look, I want to try something else."
Yeah.
You've seen what we're doing with Rory.
Yeah.
If we thought it was better for him and the team,
because that was a question as well, obviously.
Or him or the team.
No, but sorry, I did ask. Have you spoke to your riders about next year yet? Have you had the conversation with Jason?
At the minute, it's a loose conversation.
Yeah.
The feeling is like Jason would like to stay. The feeling is that we'd like him to stay. Can you just sign him tonight on the podcast? Did you say he signed?
No, we'll spread a rumour. It's happened. It's signed, sealed, delivered straight there.
Like that. Pizza down there, yeah.
But ultimately, as well, on top of all that lot, we've got to talk to our sponsors.
Yeah.
And we go, right, are we good for next year? Because it can't all come out of Nigel's pocket.
Yeah, true.
Are we good for next? If we're not, right, can we find someone else? If we can't,
You've done. I mean, obviously, you lost the Cheshire Moulding sponsorship. That Jackie and John went somewhere else. Still in the paddock, still friendly.
Yeah.
You picked up Rob Aylan, Completely Motorbikes. You've got Jason's AJ and Steel Stock sponsorship as well. The shirt looks busy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a good sign, because I do remember when FS3 didn't have that busy a shirt for sponsors. So, I mean, these guys must be happy as well with being on the bike and how they're going.
Ultimately, you know, as well. So I think Jason's probably created what is the future, if I'm honest, with our deal.
Okay, tell us.
People, hey, you're a very big part of car racing. You know how car racing works.
We won't judge you too much.
But nearly, I would say 99% of the drivers in that paddock are bringing the money to the team.
Yeah, they have a sponsor.
Exactly. Right. So Jason approached us, and this is no secret, and we got lots of stick for it, but I can quite hand on heart be quite open about it. Jason approached us and said, look, I've got this option, I've got that option. Steve Rogers was helping him as well, etc, etc. But I want X amount of money. And we're like, look, Jason, with great respect, I know you've got loads of experience, loads of talent, but we haven't got that money. We can't.
Yeah, the budget's not there.
Pay you that. Straightforward comes in. He said, and the first thing he said, okay, but if I go and find my wages, are we still in for a deal? But obviously that person will want a lot of exposure, and that's where he came back with, you know, Alan from AGN. He went and spoke to him. This is what I would like to ride the bike. This is the team. Introduce you to the team. This is what the team could do for you. And then we done sort of a little bit, I wouldn't say a side deal with Alan, but it was a deal that allowed Jason to have plenty of testing time on the bike, you know, financially. And
you went to Spain, didn't you?
Yeah. And there was a few parts that were a bit unobtainable from our budget, etc, etc.
Okay.
And Alan stepped in and said, right, I'm prepared to pay for this, this, and this. But in return, I would like this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Anything over and above that, I'm prepared to pay for or consider. As in, for instance, the other week at Snetterton, because it's the home round, they wanted another great big marquee, invite loads of guests.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
Another load of
course,
food, staff. He's perfectly happy to pick up the bill. Fantastic. He just loves motorbikes.
Great.
He is, and I'm not blowing smoke up his ass, he's just a bloody fantastic bike nut.
Great.
Loves it.
Great.
Loves it. And one of his friends that's actually connected with a famous tool brand.
Are you not wanting to name them?
No.
Oh,
No.
Is this a future sponsor, maybe?
No. They don't actually do any sponsorship. Weirdly.
Oh, they don't. It's not
But,
right, do they? No.
She loves motorbikes as well, and she's contributed towards the 400.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's how we start strapping it all together.
Yeah,
great.
and you get them in a little bit a soft entry.
Exactly. Well, not even soft entry.
Sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
But what do you want to do?
Never heard
what do you want to? Do you know what? How far do you want to get involved?
Yeah.
You don't have to jump in the water. You can dip your toe in the water, and if you don't like it, take it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if you want to get a bit deeper, etc. Then you've got Rob that's coming at it from a completely different point of view. One of the biggest multi-franchise dealers in the country.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But he needs to sell motorbikes.
Mm-hmm.
He needs the exposure. And like I said to Rob, the thing you need is the naming rights. You need the naming rights. You need, every time that bike's called out, it needs to be completely Kawasaki. Yeah, completely motorbikes Kawasaki.
Yeah, you've got to get right.
Every time it's on the TV. I said that is worth more than all the graphics you can put on the bike. That's what you need.
That is true exposure.
Yeah, because that's the bike fan that's watching the racing
Or listening
to the most. Anyway, it's that's what they're hearing. They're hearing the name of the bike
Completely
shop.
Motorbikes FS3 Kawasaki.
Exactly. So that to them is big exposure. So if you need to, I think it's multiple sponsors is a future, but trying to get them to rub together and work together is one thing, which hopefully we've successfully done. But also, and this isn't, loads of people are going to go, oh yeah, well, you'll only be able to ride a motorbike if you're rich. No, you got to think out the box. You got to think outside the box. You got, like Jason has thought outside the box, right? I'd like to ride for that team. I know they can't afford my wages. I'll go and find my wages.
Yeah, go and find a sponsor.
So that's not Jason being rich and buying a ride. That's him bringing his part to the party to make it work.
Yeah.
So, and that's how a team works.
Which for you guys is fabulous, because you've got a star rider there, which was a big coup for you guys to sign Jason. When that news came out, I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Because he could have gone anywhere in the paddock. He could have gone back to the factory Honda ride. Yeah. Who knows? He could have gone to a Ducati. He could have gone anywhere. He could have been on one of the OMG bikes. You never know. And he came to you guys, and I think for the FS3 team, as it was then, because Rob wasn't really, but brilliant for Kawasaki as well. And I think for you guys to get that big star, he's thought about it and thought, well, I've got a sponsor, let's go and find that. And he shows that he's committed to you guys as well. Shows a big part in his job.
Also, I think the thing that people don't see from the outside is the riders looking for the structure. Mm-hmm. So, who's your crew chief? What's the workshops like? Is it organised? Is it smart? Is it tidy? Is it a garage somewhere with boxes upside down? Do you know what I mean? Is it?
You have to walk past 500 coffins.
Yeah, exactly. But
that is the baptism of fire on that side of things. It's like, how much do you want it, son?
Exactly. But no, I think the rider's looking for a lot more than just what they're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm. The infrastructure's key.
There's not many riders in this paddock. The be all and end all is the money.
No, because he wants to know that he's going to get results back for that. He wants to know he's going to have a good team behind him, because he's come from one of the best teams in the paddock that's disappeared. So he wants to know that that's going to be there. He
wants to know the bike's right, the equipment's right, the infrastructure's right, the backing is right. It's going to last till the end of the season, because we've all seen people disappear and do that, and they want to know, like I say, who's their crew chief, because they're the guy that's sorting it all out, making it all happen. If they're struggling with the bike, I mean, I went in there 2 hours after that race, and he still sat there in his leathers with his crew chief, Ian Presswood, and they're going through it, and they are turning that thing upside down because he's missing that last bit of corner entry.
Yeah, is that what is that his problem today?
Yeah. He's just missing that last bit of corner entry, but they've got. Oh, it's way above me. I know where the start button is. That's about it.
How did it feel at Donington then? We'll come back to the question that I started at the very beginning with. Eventually, we're kind of getting back towards that. Donington Park. How did it feel?
Brilliant.
I mean, one of the best races we've seen in years for the Bennetts British Superbike Championship. It was stunning, and your man that you took the big gamble on, the big man came to the team, Jason O'Halloran, the O-Show, steps up and takes the victory for you guys. How did that feel? How was it on the pit wall? What was said on the pit wall? Can you remind us?
Do you want to know my version of events or how the team felt?
Right, okay, yours first in the team if there's two. Yeah,
both. Has to be both.
Right, so it wouldn't have gone unnoticed that for a team that I think we've gone 50 races on one side of the garage and 49 races on the other side of the garage without a technical.
Wow.
We lost 6 engines in a row.
We lost 2 in 16 seconds.
2 in 16 seconds. And one of those engines was somewhere near mileage, and the other one was brand new.
Never.
Right? And they all went, and they both went in 16 seconds with the same problem. And we're like, oh my God, what? How? What? So anyway, okay, so you're scratching your head and right, put two new donkeys in, ready to go. And you're just watching. All I did, the people that rang me after that went, that is one of the best races I've ever seen. I went, was it? Because I watched his exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
Every lap, I'm thinking,
waiting for smoke.
Oh yeah, literally waiting.
Hit myself and hit the tank.
And I genuinely didn't watch the race because I was watching the bike just so intently. And when he won, everybody else was like jumping around the garage going nuts, and I'm like,
relief. Relief.
And so from my point of view, it was relief. From the team's point of view, brilliant. It was magic, and then that problem reared its head again in Knockhill.
Yeah.
And we'd made a load of changes to the engine spec.
Do we know what went wrong with them? Can you tell us?
It wasn't a Kawasaki problem.
Okay,
it wasn't an us problem. It was a component failure that was neither.
There we are.
Internally.
Yeah. But it was one of those things. We build, or Ian builds Dow's engines as well. So the engines are on the bench, identical engines coming from the same shelf, parts of, and they weren't blown up engines.
Yeah.
So we had to bring it down until we found out what it was.
Especially with that time frame of the two failures being so close, there was a distinctive point, temperature, everything. It's like time, mileage, ECU. There could be any.
Yeah. But we've
lubrication.
We've changed one component, one part, and
the problems, touch wood, gone away.
Hopefully, but that's racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
But to lose two engines in 16 seconds, Jason O'Halloran pulls up going towards Goddard's, and the camera's just come off him, and it goes back to creating a curse for me in the commentary point, and Max Cook's riding down the grass at Craners. I'm thinking,
and they walked back in the garage and said exactly the same thing.
Really?
And you're like, oh god. So that race was. I watched it back on the Monday, I think, and I thought, oh yeah, it was a good race.
Good race. Good, incredible race.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Incredible. I mean, Donington, one of the greatest circuits in the UK, big flowing corners, high speed. The closeness that they were getting, all four of those guys, it was brilliant. It was good. Proper Superbike bloke racing, as James would say. This is bloke racing.
And do you know what? The best bit was listening to all the lads afterwards going, like, that was mega.
Yeah.
It was smashed the hell out of each other, and we've all come in and had a hug, and it was
class, man. BSB social media showed the guys watching the race back on the television and having a laugh as they're watching it, which is how it should be. There's rivals out there. They're all rivals. You know, they're never going to be the best of mates, and that they've got massive respect for each other. We saw that just last week, Snetterton, where Glenn won the race and he slowed down going into the Wilson hairpin, and he and Tommy stopped to see the track.
Do you know what? That's one thing. I've been so happy that those boys have kind of buried the hatchet
got through what was,
because that was just getting silly, and that's not what bike racing is about.
No,
that's not how we go about racing. And I remember after Donington, they both got, which was a really clever move, they both got delivered back between the trucks on separate bikes, and then started bloody rolling around the floor. I just looked at them. I just thought, boys, I know this has got to you, but this isn't bike racing. Yeah. Like, this isn't bike. Yeah. So that's mega. They've buried the hatchet and let's crack on. That's bike racing should be. Belt the shit out of each other, push each other off the track if it needs be, take each other's bars off, whatever, and come in and give each other a hug.
Yeah.
And that is amazing.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. I tell you what, right? You know when you see on MotoGP the spoiled brats in like Moto3, you know when something goes wrong and they smash the screen off their bike. How would you react if any of your riders ever did that?
I always say
I've got my reaction, but I want to hear from an actual team owner.
So there's that much time in the winter spent making this look nice, that sorted, putting them in special boxes, this, that, and the other. And I always have a witch's warning with the riders. I said, you ever come in and you kick my pit board in, I'll drag you out the back by your helmet
and rip your ass off.
But you know, you think to yourself,
done it before.
Some of the people go, oh no, I like that, it's a bit of passion.
No, fuck that.
Passion. No. Just kick my fucking pit board, you prick. Like, no. Sit down, take your helmet off, cool the down, stop. This is bike racing.
Yeah.
Oh, just
a friend of mine at Knockhill, I do have another friend, but just like, you know, he always says that like calmness is like a super.
Well, look, we're trying to figure out who the first one is. That's why we've gone quiet. Well, do tell.
That's that new thing that Uber friend is. Just ring one back for it.
Oh god!
I need some emotional support.
You know, when tempers are flaring and things are high, calmness is like a superpower. If you can stay calm in that moment rather than blowing your whatever is all over the place, just you know, kicking stuff, that doesn't do anything. Throwing a helmet, I would never dream of throwing a 500, 600, 700 pound RI helmet about the place. If I did throw it, I'd be trying to catch it at the far end.
You've never seen an angry person ride a superbike fast.
True.
Doesn't happen.
I like that.
It doesn't happen. So you got to be cold. You got to be cold, calm, and collected. That's it. Because if you're not, the thing will rule you. You're a passenger, and you know what it's like. Oh, I'm going to go for a lap here. Going to brake really late, and I'm going to get on the power really early, and you go 3 seconds slower.
Yeah. and you break in the same place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're going around thinking, I'm going to have a bacon sandwich in the morning, and I'm going to,
I'm going to drink Darren Fry under the table tonight, just to prove a point.
Gonna
you
have some
come in, you're
pizza.
on pole, aren't you?
Yeah, you come in and pole, exactly, yeah.
But it's calm and calculated. You're in the zone, aren't you?
So come on then, give us a roundup of the season so far for where you are, because that's a question asked at the very beginning. I went in far too deep straight away and had to get
all right.
pulled back a bit from
Tough
them.
start to the season.
Give us a season review.
I think it was a good start to the season. I think it's shown lots of promise. The engine issue has really, to be fair, knocked us for 6 results wise.
Yeah.
And, and then it's put you on the back of the grid, and then it's just had a knock-on effect. So I think it's kind of regroup. Max, as young riders do, if they get frustrated, he can get quite het up. Not in a aggressive, aggravated way. He could just starts to lose the path. So really working on keeping on, and that race today was a mega step forward because he came from a poor start. We lost the first session of the weekend. We were trying something with the clutch. It didn't work. But if you don't try, exactly. So, but it didn't work. Big time didn't work. So, okay, but we tried it. So we lost the first session. So he's on the back foot. Now you look at him. He was 0.5 off the fastest time, etc., etc. Well, Jesus, round here.
Yeah.
So he's made big steps today. Jason is just searching for that little bit of corner entry.
Is it corner entry grip, or is it feeling, or is it direction, or what?
A little bit of everything. Corner entry, a little bit more stability going in, just so he can feel he can just drop it in and carry the corner speed. But that's still he's very, very methodical. He's working the process. Doesn't get het up, doesn't get aggravated. He wants better results. Yeah. But he knows he's got to work the process. So, I think, this is almost like a little bit of a reset, I would say, this weekend. Now we know that we've got the engine problem under control, touch wood. You can, but because otherwise you pull out of qualifying, you pull out of a race, the confidence goes with everybody because they're thinking,
you're almost waiting for the failure again.
Well, the big thing is when you're a team that doesn't have the failures.
Yeah.
That's massively.
It's a new emotion that shouldn't be there.
Because you're like, what we're doing wrong. And then the mechanics feel it and the engine builder feels it, and then you go in, right, well, you got to work the process and find the problem. Yeah. So, but that's racing.
There's no finger pointing at that point.
Don't do finger pointing.
No,
no.
Good.
You win together, you lose together, you have problems together, you fix problems together.
It's always a nice atmosphere in the garage. I like coming in there. Although I did get caught out by, I think it was Dan when I was interviewing Dan. I was interviewing Dan in a very loud pit lane.
This interview's taking a turn.
It's taking a turn. And I said to Dan, I said, what was it you found something on Jason this weekend? I can't remember where it was. It might be Donington actually. That dream weekend.
No, it was Donington.
And I said, what have you found on Jason's bike? What have you done? I've been told there's new parts. And he turned down as cool as you like in a noisy pit lane and said, I've added the banana hammock. And I never heard what he said. And I says, sorry.
I said, what?
I said, what? And he says, in the microphone, the banana hammock. Sorry, Grace, that'll be loud, but that, and my ears blew off and I looked up and just walked away. I said, I'm really sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening. And then I turned
just walked back with the spanner and went, and I went, what have you said? And he went, Tom was strapped a banana hammock on it.
I turned round to look back at the team after taking 10 paces when everybody's looking at me, pointing and laughing on both sides of the garage.
Do you know what? I have to say, though, we've even got super subs that used to work for us that we keep.
You've got one here this weekend. You've got Matt Sale. He's a photographer.
Yeah,
come bike racer. Come mechanic.
Exactly, but
super sub. I like that.
So, if they've worked for us because we haven't picked them and they're great people and they're bloody good at their job. But life takes over and they have to go and do something else, or their job doesn't allow them to do it. And we always say to them, "Can you be a super sub?" Like, yeah. So you ring them up and you go, so. I mean, Dan this weekend, his wife's had to have a major 12-hour operation. He's not been able to be here, and she's She's good. She's all
okay?
sorted. Yeah,
oh, good,
yeah.
good.
Great.
But he's
Missed
not been
that.
able to be here.
Kind of, missed that, kind of.
But there was 4 super subs ready to go.
Ready to go.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have to say, our team, and I'm biased massively, but our team, they're all mega lads. We don't scrap, we don't argue, there's no finger pointing. Finger pointing.
That's it.
I like it. I like it.
No finger for you.
Hey, do not send me a photo of you pointing your finger at us. Don't ping a photo of that. Don't you dare. There you
Finger.
go.
But even if there's a slight, if I get somebody come to the back of the garage and go, he just didn't, so jacket it.
Yeah. Just sack the snitch.
We don't do that.
You have had a change of personnel. I noticed Matt Llewellyn has gone. And what happened there? I mean, you maybe don't want to tell us, but I do notice that Matt's not around.
Yeah, Matt was with us right from the start, etc., etc.
Experienced guy.
Very experienced. Worked with all our youngsters, and ultimately, Matt wanted to do one thing, the team wanted to do another. We couldn't come to a conclusion on it, so ultimately Matt chose not to carry on, which is really sad.
That's a shame.
We'll love him to bits and whatever. He's made a choice for his family and what he wants to do, and so on and so forth. And all we can do is thank him for everything he's done. Jason Brown has always been our electronics engineer, but also was crew chief for Luke Stapleford in the World Championship.
Works for Jaguar Land Rover, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So he's also been with us right from the start. He's been with every debrief and briefing that Max has ever had, and all our riders. He's been with us right from the start. So it was a natural progression for him to.
Yeah. Okay.
We rang him and said, "Do you want him?" And he jumped at the opportunity.
Oh, good. That's good then.
So there's continuity in there, even though there's been a change of personnel.
Yeah.
So, but no, we wish Matt all the best.
I didn't want that to be an awkward question, but it was something I have noticed.
Yeah, it can't be an awkward question. It's ultimately, like I say, everybody has to do what's right for them.
Yeah.
If there's something that can't be, that doesn't work for both parties, then ultimately they have to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, Matt's been an integral part of the team right from the start. He's been an integral building block of the whole thing, and hopefully he'll remain a friend for many years to come.
Well, he was quite instrumental with Max Cook when Max got the Carl Cox bench 600 right here a couple of years ago when you put him on. But that was almost the final stepping stone for Max in the way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he'd done the stock thing, he won that, and then you put him on a super sport bike, and I thought this will be interesting to see where this goes. And wow, the kid was impressive. But Matt was a big part of that, being the crew chief for him that weekend. Yeah, Matt and Ian Presswood kind of saw that he was struggling on the bike, his first outing on it here. So they were like, and obviously Rory and Jacko had hurt themselves. Yeah. So we were like, right, decamp, go to bench, work the process between you, and he was so good, so impressive, so impressive. And then that was the tipping point. That was a turning point for me as well, because I remember there was thoughts, will he go? Will he? Won't he? Is he ready? And I thought, wow, I think the kid's ready. And then you put him out on a Superbike not long after that at Donington Park, and I think Nigel said to me, Duncan, it was just like watching Rory. Yeah. That was all right, wasn't it? That was actually, he said it was just like watching Rory, the way he would come in, slide into the Melbourne Loop, apex, pick it up and away, and Nigel's so proud. People forget that actually Max has had a very similar background career path to Rory. Yeah. They both ended up in Spain. They both ended up on the Dorna path. They both ended up with down the HRC path. They were both under Alberto Puig. They both got shafted. Yeah, there's no other way of saying royally. And that was a political. And that I'm back to the Motor 2 thing. If your face doesn't fit at the right time, you're having a chance. And both them boys were unduly, or they both unduly lost their rides. Yeah, and they're both talented. Yep. Who knows where they would have gone if they'd have stayed in that paddock? It's quite interesting. We went to the Jerez test, and you forget about it because Max is just such a lovely kid.
and you're walking up down the pit lane, and we're a bit starry-eyed because we're with KRT and HRC and the MotoGP bikes there, and the KTM and the Ducati MotoGP, and they're all coming out, Max, sorry. You're thinking,
how do they know him?
How do they know him?
He's from Swindon.
And then you think, well, he spent 6 years living
in that paddock, in that
with all
life,
the Moto3 lads, and
I've had a conversation with Rory quite a few times. So there's been a grid sheet out there in Skinner Motorcycles, and you look at who Rory raced against, and you think, fucking hell.
Yeah.
I don't want to swear properly.
Get it out your system.
Fucking hell, Rory, look at that. So there's Rory at the top, and you're like Jan Meer, everybody, you name it, there's names, and you look at it thinking, wow, Red Bull rookies, and sensational kids. I mean, I'm just jealous because they're still young, they're fast, they're fit, they're healthy. Incredible.
If you could turn back time.
If there's a song in there, shall we start singing it?
Yeah,
maybe not. What else is Darren Fry doing on Saturday night? A bike meeting then? We're here sitting with you. We've had a nice bit of. You still have your pizza, haven't you?
Oh, bollocks to that.
What does Darren do on a Saturday night?
So the boys are still in the garage. No, boys are still in the garage now. They're turning the bikes upside down, inside out. Saturday night's a big night, really. It's usually an engine change.
Yeah, but is that a Saturday? If you've not had a good Saturday, or what if you've had a good Saturday? Is it always the same?
Planned engine changes. Saturday evenings are not out of the way at all, with mileages and so on and so forth. It's not that engine's out and it's going to be rebuilt, it's that engine's out and maybe using free practice here. Or a test there, and we've got 6 engines on rotation. And then K-Tech are working.
Don would love that, wouldn't you, pal?
No. It's just like I say, like we've discussed this, and it's like having a team owner on board, and people just see from the outside looking in, and it's the fact of it's great to sit here and listen to it. The fact that. Well, the fact that you do engine changes on a schedule.
Do you have just race engines that they'll race only? Or?
No. So 6 engines on rotation. Do
you have a spicy engine?
No. No.
One of them 1200s.
Thought you have one of them, shouldn't we, really?
H2. H2R. When you hear turbo spin up, it's like, there you go, man. Here comes the light one. We'll have some of that.
But no, it's like the boys have been there late tonight. They'll get everything done. The bikes will be ready to literally fire up in the morning. That's what you go in there and just think, this is ace. It doesn't matter how long you've done it. You go in there and you go, this is cool.
It's good to know though that you can be down here, and you're not needing to be in the garage standing watching.
I'm usually in the way.
Yeah, well, I found that out the other day actually when I went in and said, how did the engine swap go on Max's bike? And Ian Prestwood looked at me and says, what are you talking about? I said, Darren said you were swapping the engine on Max's bike because there's a gearbox problem. He goes, Duncan, there's a problem. I said, what's that? He goes, you listen to Darren. I was like, oh, was it not true? He goes, no, we haven't changed the bloody engine. Don't listen to him.
When I left the garage, it was like, right, engine's got to come out, gearbox has gone, whatever. Came back. I was like, which engine did you use then? And they went, it wasn't a gearbox problem, it was an electronics problem. I went, but... And they went, no. That's why you shouldn't leave the garage. Things change. I was like... Right. I mean, my job massively is...
But I caught you in the heat of the moment. They were spinning and there was an issue and it was just finished and Max was looking like his world had ended because he didn't get free practice. So I probably caught you at the wrong time when their information was, let's change the engine, but it was funny.
Well, it looked on the data and it looked physically like it was a second gear problem. So, an engagement problem. But it wasn't. It was a clutch problem in the end. But they had the whole... cassette gearbox in the ZX10.
Well, I said that. Can you change it like that? You said yes, but we'd rather change the engine in case something's floating about.
But having pulled the gearbox out, they inspected it and there was nothing missing. Right. Drained the oil, no bits in it. And then it was like, hold on a minute, ramp angle. Okay.
Is that what
so it was literally because we tried something different with the ramp angle. It was with the way the second gear was, etc., it reacted like it wasn't going into gear because it wasn't able to ramp up properly. So that'll be completely wrong technically, but that's...
You delivered it so well though.
I know. I was quite believable.
I'm like, go for it, mate.
The lads will be listening
ramp angle. Obviously.
Yeah, slipper diff ramp angle and that fallopian tube issue.
The best thing is always going to be doing like mid-race going, that ramp angle's going to be a problem for this team, and there's only going to be, at the moment, until this gets released, there's only going to be 2 dickheads going...
The fuck?
I'm going to make you ramp angle tomorrow, by the way.
Duncan's a sellout. Look at that, you know what I mean? One chat with Darren Fry here, and he's a sellout. I love it. I absolutely love it.
But the trouble with it as well, you dive in the middle of a problem.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's
my job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you dive in the middle of the problem because you're trying to get the angle on what's going on. I'm in the middle of
Sweating that day.
people's heads falling off because they're going, fucking hell, we just lost a session and it could be this, it could be that, it could be the other. And you go, what's wrong? And you go, oh, shit. Yeah.
I do try and pick my moments, you know, because you look in some garages and you think, there's just no danger I'm going in there. You know, I'm going to stay away from that garage. And you come up to FS3 and you were looking at me and you looked approachable. There was a bit of head scratching.
So it's your fault, Darren.
It's my fault,
your
yeah.
fault. From
It's not approachable.
From now on, you need that resting bitch face. You know what I mean?
Can we say it was 50-50?
Yeah.
50%.
Our eyes met across the white line.
Yeah.
Never to be done again. I love it.
But you have to, you know, ultimately, I have to tell you, not have to, I want to tell you as much information as I can give you because the fans want to know what's going on, why the bike's not out there. The sponsors want to know why the bike's not out there. But ultimately, I need to give you a piece of information that is as clear-cut as I can without spilling the beans.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
because you don't want to do anybody down. You don't want to say, bloody engines, Kawasaki engines failed again. You know, that's not something you do. You don't say, oh, it's this, it's that. You don't ever throw anybody under the bus.
No.
That's something team managers, team principals are really good at doing.
No.
But I know when to stop asking questions as well. You know, you kind of gloss it.
When are you starting?
I must have missed that.
In the pit lane, you know, in an interview with you, if you're telling me, you know, I won't then keep digging and keep digging and keep digging, you know, you kind of just to get a little overview and then disappear and get told the banana hammock's not working. So
Absolutely love it.
some of the patrons have sent in questions. Is that what that is?
Obviously, we have the patrons for the show. So I'll tell you what, you go for that one.
Right, okay,
you
so
go
I'll
for
ask the
that
top one because if you ask the top one, it'll be clearly there's a dumb question. So even though it's come from the lovely Jess Mortimer. Hi Jess, everybody wave at the camera and say hi to Jess. There you go.
I know him, so I'm giving him that.
Oh. It's a bloke. No, I'm just not interested anymore. I'm kidding. Have any of your riders, past or present, ever expressed an interest in racing on the roads, and have you ever considered taking them on to do it?
I'm glad you read that one because it looks like I've sent that one in.
I know the answer to this because you told me before, but it's an interesting one.
Always said no. None of the riders have ever really shown any interest. That Billy, when he's had about 6 beers, starts talking about it, and then when he sort of sobers up, he goes, "No, you're right." And I'll just put it out there now, like, I am the vegetarian that loves to eat steak because ultimately I say no to road racing from our team point of view. I go every year. I love it. I think it's the most amazing thing. I have to say, Kawasaki put, I wouldn't say any pressure on us, but they do ask us every year.
I bet they do.
You know, what about putting a Superbike out? What about... And there is a little bit of a tiny, and I would say it's a tiny possibility that with a fairly straight shooting team that are already in the paddock, that there is a possibility that one day we could put a Superbike in there, but we'd want to...
Do you need a rider? I can sort somebody out for you, by the way.
I know.
I'll take a manager.
I'm not even looking at it, but I bet I hope you're pointing at me.
But no, you just think...
Mr. 10% here.
I'll give you fucking 20 if it goes over the line.
My only issue with it is the obvious issue.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, like...
It shocks me with...
I know. Mine is more of a, if a component failed, if we had a finger problem, I would struggle with that. But it is ultimately no different to putting one out here. So, and like I say, I absolutely love the TT. I've never been to the Northwest. I keep saying I'm going to go, but I absolutely love the TT. I think it's the most amazing place. I think it's the most amazing thing to do. I think humanity is going to be poorer for the day you can't do it.
I completely agree.
And a man
or a
woman should be able to get on that bike, take the risks, do what they do, and just be the biggest spectacular or biggest spectacle I've ever witnessed on a motorbike. So
it's not a no then?
It's not no. It's not no.
But at the
Used
moment,
to be a no.
Yeah, it had, that's a changed answer from the last time me and you spoke about that, actually.
But it's how much time does it take out as a team? How much effort does it take to do it that could detract from what you're doing?
Yeah.
you need another team. You do. No, you do.
Yeah.
No. Like, obviously, you're part of FS3, but it's like, this is your job. This is your bike.
And ultimately, on the tight budget that we run it on,
Don't
I
have
think
that.
we could do it. The only thing I think we could ever do would be to work with an established road race team and provide them with the kit to do the job.
Yeah.
And when I say the kit to do the job, that probably includes a crew chief and a mechanic and whatever, but with the knowledge that team's got as well.
Okay, so Tony Rose now asks the question: is Tony a guy or a girl?
Oh, Tony's the man. Tony is the man. He is.
The man.
He's the man. Tony Rawls is the man. Continue with his question.
Explain how.
How? Oh, he's a drug dealer that traffics everything. No. Tony Rawls has been with us on Chasin The Racing from the beginning. You know, like when me, Chrissy and Grace started this up. You know, like Tony has been there from episode 1, first second of every minute. He's a hell of a man.
Can you give Tony a thumbs up to the camera?
No. He's not one of them. Give him one of them. He'll love that shot. You know what I mean? Tony's the man. That's it. Give him one of those. I love it.
Two for Tony. There we go.
No,
Okay.
he'll be round tomorrow. I'll send him over to the booth.
You're just in the middle of a race, a scuffle and a thump, and it'll be me on the floor.
There'll be me on the floor side with my binoculars going, here it comes, going, Darren, don't get over, it's about to happen.
Big question from Tony here, actually. Big question. Just a one-liner, but with Kawasaki's effectively a World Superbike next year, so no development, are you thinking of changing brands? Is that something?
Ooh.
No.
It's a big question, Tony.
Big gun.
No, Karen.
No,
It's Matt, like, you know, from the outside looking in, without knowing the politics, but when you think, like, people think Kawasaki and they only think motorcycles.
Yeah.
Kawasaki is humongous.
Yeah.
You're talking
Motorcycle's a tiny part of it, isn't
it's
it?
the engineering
Something
department.
like 5%.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like, it's a dot on the map. The motorcycle element is a dot on the map. Now, when you think about trains, engines, everything, infrastructure, that's going to rocket. You're talking serious engineering.
Yeah.
Now, outside looking in, knowing that.
Do you know that Kawasaki made the Channel Tunnel machine?
Shut up, man.
KHI, Kawasaki Heavy Industries.
Never. But they buried them, didn't they?
Yeah.
There's one out one side and one in the middle.
Yeah, they buried one, didn't it? It was absolutely that shagged. They just went, right, it's actually going to be cheaper to bury the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, should have got you involved in that.
No.
Can you make a green and white insert for it? Blue.
To be fair, it was the pair of them. Nigel did the accountancy. Going, it's going to be too much. We need a man to bury it. Right, get that sorted in there. Love it. But it does annoy me. This is speaking as a passionate man about it. It's like they have the engineers, they have the money, they have the know-how, but when they're not giving Johnny Ray, a multiple world Kawasaki champion, that next bike, when every other bike is moving around them.
The Superbikes don't sell, do they? That's the problem.
Is it
What we've got here with the Sport Bike Championship, you know, that's where it's getting heading, isn't it?
They don't. 20 years ago, every man and his dog had a R1, a GS6R, a Fireblade on 0% finance. There was £200 a month sat inside the garage. The missus didn't mind because it was £200 a month. It kept you quiet and you probably rode it 5 times a year. But you felt like a man because you got a Superbike in the garage.
Yeah.
Now everybody's very risk averse. Is the first thing. It's not £200 a month, it's £1,200 a month. You know, if you want something fancy, or you know, you got a very expensive piece of kit set, and everybody wants an adventure bike because they've got the dream of riding across the Alps and riding across the Pyrenees, or
a smaller capacity bikes they're looking for as well.
And brand awareness is still massively important. Otherwise, you wouldn't have MotoGP. So ultimately, Kawasaki decided to go down the World Superbike route, and now, on the face of it, it seems like an odd move. But actually, straight away, if you think about it, it's quite a smart move because they bought the brand,
The brand being Bemota, yeah.
Yeah. They can make small batches of bikes. They can change things, homologation very quickly. They can have a top brand bike that's linked to Kawasaki. The donor engine is going to be from the ZX10. So
It's going to be a strong motor then, isn't it?
strong motor. But also, if you're putting all that, this isn't with me with any prior knowledge, but this is me with some sensible thinking. If you're putting all that effort, and they're putting a lot of effort into this, a lot of effort, yeah, and I've heard the testing program, and I've heard the stuff they're testing, and I have heard where they're at with it, it could be a pretty smart move.
Well, they've signed Alex Lowe's, haven't they?
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
So, but their test program is immense on this project.
Yeah.
If that Bemota and Kawasaki tie-up becomes a lot more mainstream, so it's a common thread that they're linked, then they can make adjustments a lot quicker than many manufacturers to make the bike more competitive. And from my point of view, so Pacetti will still be racing ZX10s next year, which will be the KRT equipment, etc., etc.
Oh wow, that's a step up for them, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, if you think about this logically, if the one part of this bike that's going to be the same is going to be the engine, isn't it?
Mm.
So if they're putting that much, this is my train of thought. If they're putting that much effort into making this work, they're not going to not do any development on the shared part of that project, are they?
So, in a short version of Tony, like for an answer for Tony is, you're not going to change unless they change for you.
No, we're not going to change. And to be fair, we've got a brilliant relationship with Kawasaki UK, and we work hand in hand with them. And I've got a very good personal relationship with everybody there, and I know how hard they work at it as well. And I think they want to see the project continue and blossom. And like every manufacturer, they've got to justify building a superbike.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult nowadays.
But if you can make a smaller batch,
there you go.
Do you get concessions?
There's your market.
Does that happen in the World Superbikes? Would you get concessions because they're a new manufacturer?
but you have to make so many to make. I can never say this word.
Homologation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There
I
you go.
think it's about 125 bikes, isn't it, before the start of the season?
Okay.
That's right, because they lowered it from their Patronus days, didn't it? Because remember when Carl Fogarty did that? Oh, we're getting in the deep dark roads of motorcycle racing. I love it.
But now Kawasaki own Bemota 100%. They only had a 49% stake in it up to this point.
Bloody hell.
So they're 100%
See,
owning that, designing that, manufacturing that, etc., etc.
so you've got a bunch of geniuses with an open playbook now.
Yeah.
Oh, the future's bright, the future's green.
With an Italian designer.
Oh, it'd be sexy as hell,
sexy as
yeah.
fuck. There'll be a woman wearing nothing, just heels.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Like an Italian
Stop it.
funeral show special.
Can I come? Can I come to that?
Can you get that
I'm sorry.
seat?
I don't know what I'm going to do at this show. I'll carry your bags. I just want to go on an Italian funeral show. Like, you know. Please, can I go? No, I want to go, mate. Imagine that. Where were you on the weekend? You will not.
Maserati hearses.
Shut up, man.
Really?
Roller skating angels. Yeah. You know
What
it.
What were you drinking when you were there, if you don't mind me asking? You know?
Sorry. Are you,
About the roller skating angels.
Yeah.
But they were both blokes, so it was a bit upsetting.
That's pretty good.
But from a
Good for you.
distance,
the risks
they
have to
looked
be
great.
made.
Yeah. How did you find out?
Bumped into them.
Oh my god! I'll tell you what. I want to leave it on that cliffhanger. I really do want to leave it. I don't want to leave it at all. I could sit here and talk all night, but that is genuinely exciting.
Yeah.
I've never. You know what? That's how.
I think that the exciting bit is that it's a new plan, new project, new venture. But they wanted to sign up Alex Lowe really quickly, because remember at Donington last year he just signed his deal, but they signed him up way earlier than that this year. And I interviewed Hodgie in the pit lane and said, so how did that come around? And he says, look, they're delighted with the step he's made. This new project, they want to get him signed, sealed and ready for next year. And it's great for a rider knowing that the team wanted him, so they came to him well early.
And I think all I do know is that the bike has only been tested a handful of times, and Alex has now tested the bike, and let's put it this way, he's not unhappy.
Which is a good thing then, yeah.
Okay, we're talking hypothetically here.
Yeah.
It's all up in the air at the moment, right? How, in theory, only in theory, will we see FS3 with one of these bikes?
Why not?
No. I'm talking time for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Oh, right, okay.
In theory, with all the paperwork, the politics that people don't see.
I think it'll all depend how it gets integrated into Kawasaki UK, KME, KMI.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll all depend on what the marketing structure is with the bike, how it performs at World Superbike level. Because ultimately, well, being sensible, if that bike goes and blows everybody into the weeds,
if it's passing top rack every weekend,
and suddenly becomes, the equivalent of a V4R, the sexiest Italian, but in
like the 916 was, it moved the goalpost almost, didn't it?
But and the next thing is that tie-up becomes much, much more integrated, then why wouldn't they want one on the grid?
Oh no, I
would say you wouldn't see one in the UK for at least 2 years.
Yeah, they are. You see, that's what they are, 2 to 3. You know what I mean? It's this is the thing that people don't see on that side of things, and that's
which will be here.
It's mental,
in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's how quickly it goes.
But then I open a whole other can of worms. But where are we going to be at that point?
Are we still going to have those bikes racing in the UK? Who knows?
Yes, we fucking don't you dare play that down.
Will we get electric scooters and go?
No, we'll be shite. But like you say, anything can happen with the 1000cc class, anything like this, everything like that. But it's exciting that
it could be a complete restructure by then. But if you've got there's a couple of manufacturers that are keen to get on board with the racing, but they don't want to potentially do it with 1000cc bikes. But they could put out something very, very, very special that's a reduced capacity, and then everybody, because you've already made the point that people are buying small capacity bikes because they've got much more performance. I'm not being funny. I took a ZX10 out on the road the other day that Kawasaki had given us for the pillion bike, mate, and I'm riding it and I'm thinking, poodling along, running it in at 60 mile an hour, and you're doing 120.
Yeah,
it's stupid for the road. It's an immense piece of kit. Any of those 1000cc bikes are.
Yeah.
Me and you, they're ace, but they scare the shit out of the average punter. Though, we've got somebody from AGN. Just passed his bike test. He wants a nice 600. That's the right bike for him to have.
Yes, yeah.
And it'll still do 180 mile an hour and
scare the shit out of you when he wanted to.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got a friend at Kawasaki you should introduce him to. Glenn Toy could sort him out with a really, really good bike.
Nobody needs to introduce him to Glenn.
Imagine that.
He's painting a soft cell with a big lock on the door. You never need to. You have spent time with him, haven't you?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
No, you not spent enough time with him.
He looks like Millhouse.
Yeah.
It's not.
I think we ought to end there.
I tell you what, we'll leave it there. Honestly, that I've
Can I just say one last thing? Can I say I've not seen you since your TT, and I need to say congratulations. I was
wow. I'm going to be on a promoter next year, so that's the bombshell there.
I was
put it there. Come on, put it. Well done. I was proud of you. I haven't seen you since. Well done.
No.
Honestly,
thank you so much.
We were shouting at the TV in the office at work because I couldn't go this year just with timing and whatever. And I'm like, bloody hell, what's he doing up there? It was mate, brilliant. Absolutely stunning.
No, thank you very much.
Stunning.
Thank you very much. So no, it's
I'd still like to see you out here in a BMW though, because you done blooming well at that.
Oh no, because even my first year in F900, I had never been to Brands, never been Silverstone, never been to Snetterton, never been the only track I've been to was Donington Park. So it was all learning the tracks, and that's I'd love to be back in the bit. I used to take the piss out of Chrissy for years, going to your hair gel wanger and stuff like that. But the thing is, this is the big pond.
But this keeps you sharp.
Oh no, I would like
this is the thing.
This is,
and I'm not being funny. What you did at the TT, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It wasn't a one-off race that like, you repeated and repeated and repeated the performance. That was the impressive bit.
Yeah,
It's
very.
And I would love to be in BSB because it's sharpening the blade 100%. You know what I mean? It's like I love racing period, but going out and doing track days and stuff like that, it like you say, it all comes down to. But anyway, I feel like that's a different.
Man's in the 130 club, you know.
Oh, but the worst thing is, my ideals are 132, and then it's like, but the worst thing any racer could ever look at is an ideal.
Yeah.
No, but I tell you what, a fun fact is, my dad keeps an eye on all my numbers, and I've never ever left a TD without achieving my ideal. Never. And it's like, obviously, you know, like we're discussing about engine failures, you know, mechanical gremlins have like cursed us this year, but it's nice to be able to go back going, you know what, I can't do. Believing and achieving is two different things, and I like to try and set my life up going, I can't do it.
But then I've noticed you're starting to relax into it now. It's not like before you come across like you needed it, you wanted it.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you can do it.
It's almost like there's a pressure being removed as well from doing that 130. There's a pressure come off you, and now you know you can do it.
So you're not pushing.
Yeah. And as John McGuinness will tell you, that when you start relaxing round there, it starts to flow better. Yeah. But you were that pent up, angry individual before it. Then you got it. Tick that box. Look what happened this year.
No, it's the only problem about that event is you only get one crack at it a year. That's the only bloody thing about the TT. But that's what makes it exciting. But hey, speaking of you. Get another beer. Really proud. Fucking no, you'd be thinking go faster, you prick. That's what Chris would be thinking. I'm telling you now. But there you go. But I tell you what, honestly, Darren, thank you so much. You've missed I think what were we all for in Indians tonight? That's totally got out the window.
I'll be right.
Oh, good man.
I think I
could do with dodging
Sorry. No, but honestly, thank you so much, and obviously, good luck for the whole weekend. It's we've got tomorrow, which is obviously Sunday.
Superbike Sunday.
So, how many races you got tomorrow?
Two
tomorrow.
Sprint race first of all, then the longer race towards the end of the day.
Yeah. And I love it how we've taken the voice of BSB, the one of voices of the BSB, and we've just knocked his voice for another couple of hours there. So tomorrow he sounds like a broken frog. Well, that's 100% our fault at Chasin The Racin.
It's my third weekend on the bounce, so I'm a little bit hoarse now. So
you're professional, man.
Do you know what though, I will say, and we talked about this when we were at the NEC, lots of things to touch on, always will be with Chrissy, but I turned him down about 6 times coming on this because I was too shy or whatever, but I never thought, a bit like when you go to the TT, you think you get that imposter syndrome, don't you? Like, what does anybody want to? But the biggest thing when we lost Chrissy was I regretted like hell not coming on, and I said that to you.
I know you did,
at the show, didn't I? And I'm very privileged that you've asked me. Thank you.
No. Honestly, thank you so much for coming on.
And enjoyed it.
No, thank you very much. And obviously, that's great. Grace edits this. This is Grace's. It's the Rouses. It's the Rouses podcast. Yeah. And honestly, that more importantly, and this is my.
Poor Grace is standing outside.
No, she's shite, man. She'll be out. No, she'll be out for her friends, man. Don't you worry about Grace. She's got a friend. The thing. This is home for her.
Yeah.
And this is where Chrissy was happy, and Grace grew up in this paddock. And I swear this is home for her. And I'm not just saying this because you're opposite. I knew what Chrissy thought of you. You know what I mean? We did many van miles together, and we unfortunately, I think you spent too much time with me. You know what I mean? I think you just, it's like we spent a couple, 3 days a week working. I think you just wanted to strangle us most of the time, and the feeling was mutual. But that's what friends do. But I'm he held you in a serious high regard.
And I did him as well, and we came. You and a very few people know how very, very, very close we came to having him on a green bike at one point, and few regrets in life, and that's one of them.
No, but he's you couldn't ask for a better man who would understand this. So but no, all good. Thank you so much for being on the show. Honestly, thank you so much, Duncan. You've done all right. There's a future in this chat and shite stuff. I'm telling you for you.
When we're off air, we'll just talk.
Yeah, that's it. When the next beer gets open, there you are. But obviously, we've got to do the housework on this side of things. But seriously, without the sponsors, we've been talking about it. Without sponsors, this sport would not be going, and this podcast definitely in particular. But we have our individual episode sponsor, which is PCRS, which is an Irish official all sales and service centre. We sell service all Orleans Motorcycle Products. Contact them, please contact them on pcrsrallysport.com for all inquiries. And good friends of yourself, you share the hospitality element as well with OMG. Allegana, he'll be listening to this, having a right good laugh with you on that side of things. And we have JCT Truck and Trailer Hire Services and Bennett's Bike Insurance. But yet again, thank you so much, Duncan, for taking your rest time to chat more shite. Honestly, it's great to have you on. And Darren, how do you say his name again?
Far and dry.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. So thank you so much, mate.
Cheers, boys.
No problem at all. Right, we'll go from there. Grace have our food.
Pizza.
Pizza.